Hello, everybody. It is I, Brian the Pirate, and welcome to episode 10. Episode 10 of the Fully
That's a
Rendered
long
podcast.
name, Brian the Pirate. It's episode 10. Episode 10.
Yes, it is the longest name in the world. And I am joined.
Where's the other 9 Brians?
The other 9, they died playing Diablo due to malnutrition, sleep deprivation, and an excessive quantity of monster energy, which I'll be cracking open shortly.
Oh my god.
I've literally drank about 16
Dead
cans.
man walking.
About 16 cans over the last week. It's insane. But I should continue with the intro.
Mate, that
How's
is
your blood pressure and your heart rate?
Yeah, like I said,
Put it
malnutrition.
on cheek, old man.
I went to the toilet. It comes out the same color it went in. It looks radioactive, mate. Like, it's so bad.
Jesus Christ,
Drink
man.
some damn water.
I've got tea. I just drank a cup
That's
of
not
tea.
water.
Every time you see Lilith, remember
It's
how
water in the
thirsty
tea.
you are and drink some water.
I will.
That was a clever joke, by the way, chat. Fuck all of you.
But just to continue with the intro, I am joined today by the... Is my camera still mirrored? No, it's not. This lady here.
Pulp Fiction.
Hi.
Hello. Oh no, wait. Peachy's the lovely lady.
I'm a
Loveliest
lady.
ladies. You're
lovely
both the
lady.
loveliest ladies. And Peachy?
Sorry, Pulp. Please,
It's
carry
okay.
on.
You're prettier than me.
All right, yeah, sure.
Hi, I'm Peachy Pixelate. I'm prettier than you.
All of you. But yes,
All of you.
All of you.
in today's
I'm a lot more
episode...
handsome.
Hey, I got this window wide open because it is so hot here right now.
Yeah, it's
I have a
27.
window open too.
Yeah,
It's very hot.
it's 27 here in the UK. It's going to be thunderstorms tonight.
Whoa.
For those of you stateside, freedom units, that is about 85, 80 to 90, something like that. It's
Yeah.
up there. It's up there. But yeah, look, we've got thunderstorms for the next few days as well as the heat. So humidity and no aircon. So that should be a giggle. But yeah, in today's episode, we are going to be talking a lot about games. Peachy and I the other day watched the Summer Games Fest, Jeff Chella, Key 3, whatever you want to call it, the opening to this week or two of games showcases. And we're going to cover some of the games that we noticed that were revealed, some of the premieres and things like that, and some of the weird moments. Should we start
I'm
with...
excited to hear about it.
I mean, did you watch any of it? But like any of the
No,
VODs?
I've been busy with a lot of personal stuff, like
Right.
wedding planning, and so I kind of like zoned out all week. We had family in town,
Right. Well, in that
so
case,
I'm really excited to hear about this.
well, should we open up with Nick Cage?
Oh my god, he was there and nobody knew if he was an enemy or a survivor. No one knew. And everyone would have been okay with
for
either
Dead by
side.
Daylight.
Yeah, yes.
Oh my god! So you still don't know if he's either an enemy or
do
or a
now.
hunt-
We do now,
What is
yeah.
it? I need to know. I
So,
love Nick Cage.
Just
We
to-
kind of knew before because he had said publicly
Villain.
that he'd been recording lots of grunts and stuff for working on things.
So he's a survivor.
Yeah. So for those not familiar, there was like an announcement that Nicolas Cage was going to be in Dead by Daylight. However, no one actually could understand or tell what he was going to be. Was he going to be a survivor or if he was going to be an enemy? Because it could
I
have
would
been
love for
either.
him to be an enemy.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
It would have been cool if he was one of the killers. He
I mean,
could have
that's
done
okay.
Renfield,
If he's
I
a
suppose.
survivor, I will still play him because that's my man.
Yeah. He came on stage. He was Nick Caging all over the place. You could tell Jeff was having a good time. But yeah,
The only bad part about him coming on stage was the one joke that was written. Everything else was gold, and the one joke was like, oh, that's not good.
yeah, there was a bit of a scripted joke, and you could tell afterwards, like he was laughing at himself, like that was a shit joke. Like as soon as he said it, was like,
That was clearly written. You
Anyway,
could, the way
yeah.
he was saying it, that was a script.
yeah, 100%.
And the rest of it was just perfect, Nick Cage.
Yeah, very very Nick Cagey. Let's continue talking about the Summer Games Show then. So let's have a look at some of the things that were showcased. So there's a new Prince of Persia game, not to be confused. Oh, Pulp's still in jail. Bear with me, Pulp. You're still in jail. There we go. Like I can literally just put you in jail.
Oh
There you
my
go.
God. That's fine. I deserve
The
it.
bars back up, Brian.
Yeah, the bars are up. The bars are up.
It's
The bars are up.
fine.
But yeah, I'll take you out of jail. Don't worry. There, Pulp's out of jail.
Once, as I said last podcast, literal actual jail.
Literal actual jail. Yeah, it wasn't wet jail. Just straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Too much Monopoly.
But yeah, so there was a new announcement for a new Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. This is not to be confused with the remake / remaster that is currently in developer hell. Ubisoft have just come out and gone, "Hi, we're now making a side-scrolling platformer." So there's loads of
it's like classic Prince of
Kind
Persia.
of. It's
yeah,
not quite full 2.5D. There's definitely camera movement and stuff like that.
yeah. So there's like in-game cinematics. So I'll just go through like the screenshots. They've also redone the model for the I've never played the game, so presumably for the Prince of Persia or whatever the character's name is. So this
that looks nothing like any of the older princes.
Yeah, so they've completely changed them up. You've got like these in-game cinematics, but the actual gameplay itself is a side scroller. And
I quite like the design of the prince.
I'm not gonna lie, I really love that they're going back to side scroller because that was the classic.
well,
Sands of Time for me was the best one. Like I enjoyed the earlier ones, but the first sort of 3D remake they did, and this does look like it's going that way.
I just love that idea that they're going back because we haven't seen really a lot of 2D in games like you know.
Oh, it's still 100% 3D engine, and the camera moves a lot. It's not just like straight. It's not. It doesn't look like they've just newly remade the 2D ones.
Yeah,
it definitely is a 3D.
Yeah, it's all 3D. It's just fixed camera at the side for the combat.
The
camera was moving when he was jumping through some of those things, though.
I would suspect that's more of like in-game cinematic stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think it was just as they were going to the next puzzle. I don't think it was you controlling the camera, if that's what you mean.
Yeah. So I think it looks cool. Obviously, people probably know by now. I won't be playing it because Ubisoft.
The art style looks pretty neat too, actually.
Yeah, I genuinely thought it looked really, really cool. I do like what they're doing with the remodel, and yeah. What do you guys? Is this something you two would play?
I would.
They did something that worried me. They kept going back to how deep the combat is.
So, you feel like they're trying to defend it too much?
I don't know if they're just like, oh no, there's combat in here too, and it's still like a Prince of Persia game, or if they've actually changed the game to be a combat game with some jumping. Because I don't want a combat game with jumping. I want a jumping game with combat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the older ones were like platformers, so that's what I agree.
Well,
like
the original,
you don't have to reinforce that there's so much combat in the game. I mean, it's fine.
The original 2D was all about platforming, and they were combat sections. The remake had some very light combat.
Brian,
it wasn't
drinking more Monster.
Brian, you're going to die.
I swear to God, Brian, you're going to die.
Live.
Please drink some water.
Episode 10, Brian.
We
need to get to 11.
You saw nothing. So Prince of Persia.
Yeah, and like Sands of Time, my favorite one is there's combat. It's not too deep. It's jumping about and attacking and stuff like that.
Sands of Time, it was more platforming than combat, right? I think it was like later down the road. Yeah, okay.
I still had combat. It had more combat than the original because the original was usually one enemy that you had to defeat and move on to the next thing. But it was like you go into a room, you have a bit of combat with people, and then you carry on the puzzle. And I hope that's how it is still. Because I don't want a combat game like Assassin's Creed exists. Oh god, it's made by Ubisoft.
It is made by Ubisoft.
Please don't focus on the combat.
Please, I just want a platformer game with combat. Yeah, I want the combat to be fun, but I don't want that to be the focus.
I mean, they could do.
I like good platformers every now and again. Like Psychonauts are some of my favorite games. So like I'm gonna keep an eye on it because I really like platforming, and the fact that it's 2D is kind of up my alley. I like seeing like more AAA developers actually go back to 2D a little bit because you don't see it that much outside of indie.
Well, I mean, they do what's the motorbike games they do? Ubisoft do bike trial stuff.
Yeah,
Trials. It's called Trials. There we go.
They haven't made it for a couple of years. I think they just stopped doing it, which is weird because it was a
there's a new one coming, and the last one wasn't too long ago, but it wasn't every year. I don't think they've made them every year.
Admittedly, I'm not a big supporter of Ubisoft, so I'm not really like, I'm not up to date with like all of their like gaming library, so I wouldn't have known that. But I'm just whenever like a game, like sometimes like a AAA game, like Arkham Asylum did it, where they'll have like one like 2D like experience in it. I get like super excited about it because I love 2D.
Yeah, I think.
So I'm excited.
Have you played Dead Cells yet?
I have Dead Cells.
Mwah.
Yeah.
Oh, either of you played the Castlevania DLC yet?
No, I haven't played that yet. I've
I
got
have
a lot
not,
of games
no.
on my plate. Yeah?
Yeah, apparently.
You
it's
get a
really
whip?
good. I believe so. Like you do
You get a whip?
basically get
Oh,
to
that's so good.
be like Trevor essentially and stuff like that. But I've yet to play it, but from what I've heard, it is really, really good. But yeah,
Oh, that's so good.
Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. I don't believe there was a release date. Oh yes, there was on January 18th next year, 2024. So we've got a release date. If you're interested, do feel free to check it out. It looks cool. I hope it'll be fun. We got a new trailer for Mortal Kombat 1. Lots of fatalities. It did look very, very good. I'm pretty much all in. I will want to play at some point just to be the destroyer of skulls.
I burst out laughing for most of the presentation of the game. It was
Like, some of the kills, the fatalities were extraordinarily gory. It did look very, very cool. Fortnite Wilds revealed they basically added Velociraptors and Optimus Prime for skins. Sonic Superstars, essentially like a reskin or a remaster of the original game, so it's all like fancy. I can see.
I'm worried about Sonic.
Why?
I mean, it looks
I
like
don't,
Sonic.
I'm not a big
Yeah,
Sonic fan, so I
but
don't know.
Team Sonic are very good at making a great game, and the worst pile of shit you've ever seen in your life. There is no in between. There is no meh game from a Sonic team. It's either, oh my god, you nailed it, or what the fuck is this?
I mean, I recall we were watching this and you had a similar reaction where you were like, oh no, it's going to be... And then you're like, wait a second.
Then it had some platforming in it. And I'm like, okay, yep. And then they went, oh, it's Super Mario Brothers with the 4-player. Why have you done that? Give us a Sonic. What do Sonic players want? A Sonic game. Give us a Sonic game.
I think
Yeah.
I would say this looks like a Sonic game.
Maybe.
It looks kind of neat. I think it looks good.
Yeah, I think it looks good, but I bought Alien Colonial Marines because they looked good.
I did too. I'm not gonna lie. I did too.
To be fair, that's...
So okay, I'm with you. I'm back with you, Peachy. I did that too.
To be fair, with Colonial Marines...
I have to watch my mouth when I say it looks good, and then it's just not.
I mean, to be fair, with Colonial Marines, that trailer that they originally released for it was the
really
biggest
sick.
lie. It was like the biggest lie. It was like, this is
It
not
was
the game
so
you're getting.
cool.
It looks so sick for Colonial Marines. It's
That
so
game would have
good.
been great if they made that
I
game.
wish it was great, man. I played a little bit of it with like my
I
fiance and a
completed it
friend,
3
and it was
times.
just, I played it like 2 or 3 times, and that was it. And we got like pretty done with it.
Yeah, I fully completed. The last boss of Alien Colonial Marines is you push 3 buttons
Oh,
to
sick.
win the game.
I love
What,
it.
like a QT, or is it just a cheese?
Sounds like a
or...
QT.
You're in a room. The queen is chasing you.
Right.
Not Pulp, the alien queen.
okay.
And you run
That's
around this room and go boop, boop,
She's
boop,
the
and you
better-
complete.
she's the better queen.
You can complete the boss fight in less than a minute. You just go boop, 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 and it's done.
Right. That's fair. They also showed the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer, so some more Rebirth.
Yes, I did see that. That looks fantastic. I mean, I'm not. I played through the part 1, I guess technically, like twice. It looks really good.
The trailer was interesting because they chose some very particular voice lines, which is really fucked with the fandom. Obviously, because the first game.
Oh, I didn't look that deep into it. What's up with the voice lines?
Well, like Sephiroth goes, "You saw me kill her," and it's showing Tifa
never
on
mind.
screen. So loads of people are like, "Wait, are they talking about Aerith, or are they like, is he gaslighting
Oh yeah, never mind.
Cloud?"
I did see that.
So like, loads of
did see
people are like,
that.
"What's it about?" And of course, having what
Timey wimey.
happens.
Because they
Yeah.
showed Tifa with the sword during the Nibelheim incident. Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
I just thought that they were just kind of fucking with people, to be honest.
Well, that's the thing,
But
'cause-
then again, I'm not like that. You know, I'm not that crazy. Like, I know some people are really a lot more invested in Final Fantasy VII than I am. But I thoroughly enjoy it. Like, don't get me wrong. I thought they were just fucking with the fans.
Apparently, okay, this
They're
isn't
trolling you.
confirmed, but this is from someone who I trust. In the Japanese trailer, he apparently says Tifa explicitly.
Okay, I would want a source on that.
I'm seeing in my chat that the theory is that he might have been gaslighting Cloud into thinking that he killed Tifa, which
Yeah.
could be another choice. Well, I mean, because I think Cloud probably thought she died.
Well, the thing is as well, is obviously in the original game, the original Final Fantasy, Cloud obviously gets completely
stab her?
discombobulated and fucked up, and Tifa does get attacked. We don't necessarily see her die. She gets hit, but she gets hit by the sword. But then in Remake, things have changed.
Yeah, things are...
Sephiroth is self-aware that he's a timey-wimey
Yes.
dude, bro.
He
And-
knows what has happened, so he could be
Yeah.
talking about a different timeline.
Yeah.
He might be referring to Aerith. Is that what you mean?
Well, he might be referring to Aerith. Going,
We
"You
don't
saw
know
me
if
kill her,"
he's- Well,
or he
I
might be
also- I
referring to
forgot that
We
Tifa.
don't know
I
how
forgot
many
he stabbed-
timelines he
I forgot he
experiences.
stabbed Tifa in Crisis Core. I did play through. I was playing through Crisis Core, the remaster, and I played too much. I burnt myself out on it because I played too much of it that I didn't actually complete the game. I do that a lot.
To help better explain, are we okay going into spoiler territory?
I think I could
Not really of the remake.
not the.
I'm
Of
still
the
waiting for them to fix that game so I can play it.
Oh, have you not played it yet?
No,
you not
because
played
it's still a piece of shit on PC.
Right.
I played it on PC. It seemed to play fine for me.
Look, I have very high standards.
Okay.
They're called 60
I have low
FPS. That's it. That's all I want.
I didn't pay attention.
Sorry, it's not very good at holding a frame rate.
Fair.
Oh, is that right? Okay. I don't think I remember that, but I believe you actually.
I have a 3080, and I'm like, maybe I can muscle it, but I'm not spending 70 quid on a game. Like, go fuck yourself, Square. It's not even a whole game. It's part one.
It's true. It is a lot
I
of
think I
games.
have the same. I think I have the same graphics card as you. So, yeah, I don't think I noticed. But then again, like I think
Well,
because
it's
I played it,
possible it's
I played
fine
it
on
on
a high end.
PS4. To be fair, I played it on PS4 where it wasn't 60, so I think it looked exactly the same, and I was okay with it.
Yeah, I played it on my PlayStation 4. So, but either way, I'm personally very
no
excited.
spoilers because I don't want to spoil the Peachy because it is a
Yeah, no,
it
no,
is a
that's
fun
fine,
game
that's
to
fine.
I do
experience.
want to play it.
Yeah,
I do.
we're gonna respect that because I want you to actually experience it on your own.
Yeah, no,
That's
fair
not
play.
cool for us to spoil it.
What I would recommend then is, I can't remember the exact name of it, but for both Peachy, Pulp, and you guys at home, there is like a story thing called Black and White, and it basically is some like added context with how Final Fantasy VII and Remake connects to Advent Children and stuff like that. So go look it up. It's basically...
Oh, I'll look at that. Sounds interesting. I'll look that up.
Yeah, so it's basically the perspectives of Aerith and Sephiroth as after they've joined the live stream, and it adds a lot of context that the game doesn't really add, and it's not necessarily something you need, but having read it and being aware of it, you're like, oh, and it just adds so much more insight to Remake. So definitely go give that a gander. Also, we had some other announcements. We got the release date for Spider-Man 2, October 20th.
Excellent,
So
baby.
In the fall, as predicted by me. I think I said late September, so do forgive me. I was slightly wrong, but I did say fall. So
I'm okay with waiting because we have Final Fantasy 16 coming out soon.
true, very, very, very
I
true. Alan Wake 2.
I actually ordered a physical copy for that. I was that excited. I want a physical.
Oh, what, have you gone collectors or?
No, just space. I don't really care about collector shit. Like I bought like steel boxes in the past, but I'm like, I'll just be like, I paid extra for this shit.
Yeah,
You literally collect Switch consoles.
that's true. Like we're on 12 now, right?
By the way, I'm wearing my Zelda shirt. Look at that.
That's a cow?
It's Lon Lon Ranch. I wore it today and I saw that I was cut off on the camera and I was like, oh, I want people to see my little cow.
Oh, I'm wearing my
Ranch
60 FPS t-shirt.
Oh.
Oh, since doing that, I'm wearing Ghost in the Shell and a Wabder is out.
Oh, you fucking weeb.
You're
Yes.
such a weeb, but I respect
That's
that.
a really good movie. I really enjoy Ghost in the Shell.
I love Ghost in the Shell.
I'm a man of culture.
I think I bought all of it. Like I have all of them on like box set.
Yeah, I actually, the first Ghost in the Shell I watched wasn't the movie, it was the Standalone Complex.
And the
Oh,
Lone Complex is so good.
'Cause in
And
the-
the music is fantastic.
not as good as the
UK,
movie.
We had
Not as
like,
good as the movie. No, you're right.
in the UK, we didn't have cable. We had something similar to cable, and there was a channel called the Challenge channel, I think. And at midnight, it would change to like the anime channel, and it would be Cowboy Bebop, Standalone Complex, and I think something else, and it would be the same anime, like just in and out for like months at a time. That just those three.
It was older anime. It was like my era that I actually like of anime.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's actually what got me into it.
time.
Yeah, so that's
No, that's awesome. I think I remember like channels like that when I was younger.
yeah, it was the only way I could watch
did
anime.
that. If I remember correctly, G4 did that.
They may have. We didn't have G4 that much over here.
I watched
to be
G4
fair.
when I was younger.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I do remember them having like an anime segment.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Alan Wake 2, more gameplay. We saw gameplay as
That I'm so fucking excited for, man.
Yeah, the gameplay we were shown was of the lady
Alan
protagonist rather than Alan. There wasn't much Alan in the.
There was little bits of Alan.
Yeah,
It was
because
less Alan, more woke.
But he's in what's it called, the Dark World?
Yeah, so there's
Ex-
supposed to be like two different worlds, two different parts of the country. I think the chick is in like the Pacific Northwest, and then Alan's like somewhere down south, and then he's potentially like in a darker.
Yeah, he's not in our universe. He's in the Dark World universe. So we saw some clips of him, and it was like pretty stylized. I think they maybe they're waiting for a trailer to put Alan in it.
Yeah,
They just gave us little bits. It was very survival horror-ish. It was like she was very slow walking through like light, going to an old shack, and I'm like, oh, doesn't feel very Alan Wake. And then she got jump scared by a deer, and she like absolutely craps herself. And behind her there's a big sign that says deers. And I was like, no, it's still funny. We got it.
And then a man dressed as a deer bursts through the deer poster, and like it seemed all very like tongue-in-cheek at the same time, didn't it? But yeah.
It was the atmosphere was really spooky, but it still was like stupid, like the jump scare sign and a guy dressed as a deer. So I'm actually I'm feeling better about it now.
Yeah,
nice.
It's something I'll probably watch someone else play. I didn't vibe that well with the first one. Horror games in general, I'm just like, I don't like feeling tense playing a game. Like there's some games and some movies that I'll watch. Like I liked A Quiet Place, for example, but a lot of the time if I'm just sat there being tense perpetually, I don't feel comfortable, and it's not an enjoyable thing for me.
I do like horror games a lot, but I admit that I'm kind of a weenie about them, and there's certain like genres of them, I guess, for lack of a better word, that I tend to not be a big fan of, and like that falls under like Outlast and anything where it's like you have to run and hide. I'm like, nope,
right,
because that triggers
like
the
that shit.
fight in me, and I'm like, and I'll just no, dude. I played fucking what game was it? Alien Isolation. And the last play it's good, but I wouldn't get out of the locker the last time I played. Which was there, and I'm like, no,
which is a problem because she will find you in the locker.
She did find me. That's the thing. Is she found me. But that's like a personal problem. I'm like, I didn't like hide and go seek as a kid either. So it's like whenever games have that, I don't want them to find me.
I think this is more survival horror, more resi kind of.
Yes, I prefer more resi, like Silent Hill. Alan Wake one was.
And you have a gun.
Fantastic. I love having a gun.
I like having a gun.
gun.
Fucking Americans, dude. Jesus. All right, dial it back.
I'm sorry. I mean, an American saying they like having a gun in a game. Goddamn. Cliche.
Stereotypes.
I know it's kind of a cliche, but it's fine.
Nah, it's all good.
It's so cute when I say it.
It looks like it's pretty much the same engine as Control. Even the monster design was a little bit controlly, like they had this spoopy like aura thing going on about them.
I think they're trying to,
link the universes together.
Simpatico.
Yeah, so that was another announcement. Another one that was quite surprising. It actually looks really good. I haven't played a Yakuza game, but there's a Like a Dragon Gaiden.
I love I've played Like a Dragon. I have Ishin I still need to play through. It came out like when oh man, like there's a bunch of games that came out at the same time, and also my computer. It was when I was dealing with all those leaks, so I couldn't play on my computer.
Right.
And I haven't gotten around to that one, but I did really thoroughly enjoy Like a Dragon. I love the Yakuza franchise. So
Yeah.
Is it Like a Dragon, the turn-based one?
Yes, and it's
This didn't look
wonderful.
turn-based.
Well, no, so they Like a Dragon, they did turn-based, and then Ishin, I think they went back more to the classic like Yakuza, and so I think they only did it for that one. It was fun. I liked it. I thought it was really.
I
it was
like
quirky.
Yakuza.
I love Yakuza.
The storyline is really boring, but the side story is where the meat is.
I see. It's always funny because like I love to explain to people who've never played Yakuza that has like this really tonal dissonance where like you.
It's perfectly balanced between not like a classic Yakuza story kind of idea, and then stealing panties for sex workers. Like, it's amazing.
That's what I mean. It's like it's kind of like the tone is kind of all over the place, but I love that about the games. Like you go into the story and it's a lot more serious, and then everything else is just so fucking like it's so goofy, and I love goofy shit. I'm such a sucker for the karaoke parts. Like those are the best.
Yeah.
If
you haven't, Brian, try Zero because it's got this 80s sheen over it, which is always kind of fun.
You'll love Zero. It's been on sale quite a few times too. I think Brian would really enjoy it. That was the one that got me into Yakuza.
Like
it's got all the modern fighting sort of stances and stuff. But it's not the brand new ones, but it's the modern take of Yakuza where they kind of updated combat and shit like that.
I love the 80s, like the 80s setting. It's so great.
Yeah.
Everything's so like bright and colorful and tacky, and I love it.
I have always wanted to get into the Yakuza games, but they are, as a franchise, quite intimidating because they're all gargantuan games, aren't they? Like they're all pretty
The
big.
content is the side content. The story is just like, oh, do you want to get to the end? There you go. It's that way.
And I struggle to stream those types of games because more often than not, the only time I get to game nowadays is when I'm streaming due to work life and all that shenanigans. So I often try to avoid huge games. Like I never finished Persona 5. I was enjoying it.
Persona 5 that's a beast of an undertaking, to be fair. That's like 120 hours. That's ridiculous. I mean, Persona 5 is wonderful. I love it. I bought both Royal and the original version, and I didn't even get through Royal because of the same exact reason. It's like I already played it once, and it's like, oh my god, do I want to put in another 100 hours into this game?
What's the Yakuza where you have a baby child you have to save?
Oh god, I can't remember.
Is that 6?
I think so. But
they are just honestly, fun, Brian. Maybe don't stream it. Just go, do you know what? I want some games.
He said that he only really gets to the game when he streams. But I would, what I would say
he played Diablo for 30 hours in one sitting.
Diablo is like an action RPG, and it's like my jam.
So
how many hours do you reckon there are in Diablo?
In Diablo, well, it's a live service game, so it'd be tens of thousands. But it's continuously like developing content, and the content itself is also the building and stuff like that.
Yakuza, Brian!
I think you could do a Yakuza game, Brian. I played Yakuza 0 on stream like a long time ago for the first time, and I was just like having such a blast with just the side content. I honestly, God, like it would be a lot of fun for you to play it.
I'll probably get to it eventually, but
just get your organic reactions to how ridiculous some of them are.
Yeah, I probably will eventually, but it's more of a case of because the type of content that I make. Like I'm a variety streamer, but my main content is action RPGs because I can make YouTube content and stuff like that. So
it's
having
kind of
another
action
game,
RPG, kind of not really,
not
but
that
it's
type
a brawler.
of action.
It's a brawler,
like dungeon crawl.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to play into.
I know. Like I want him to play it too, Pulp.
I know. We'll peer pressure. We'll
like Diablo because
you and I will just buy him all the games and just be like, now you have to play them.
I'll get there eventually. I promise I will get there.
Apparently 3 sucks. I don't think I've played 3.
I have 3. I don't know if I played through it yet. Because again, they're like such monsters of games, but they are like anytime I play them, I'm like going everywhere and trying to find every single thing in the game to do because it's unlike an open world RPG like Skyrim, how I've explained how I go out, my ADHD gets all over gets me all over the place. In these games, like you just genuinely want to find the other side content because it's so goofy as hell.
Right.
It's not open world though. There's like maps and
No,
stuff.
it's
You
not.
are
That's why
constrained to a degree. It's not like
I said unlike an
Yeah.
open world because it's not open world, but it has like that same
it is,
vibe.
but it isn't, right?
It
It is
has the
open
same-
because you can go anywhere, but it's also mapped.
Yeah, it's just like so. It's
Brian!
it's like you're given a lot of freedom. Brian, stop drinking Monsters.
Motherfucker, I'm
Drink some water.
thirsty. Let me drink.
You're drinking the sugary one too, which hurts my soul.
Tastes like mango. Get over it.
Oh my god.
Moving on. Anyway, Star Trek Infinite got announced. Congratulations, Trekkie fans. I don't think any of us are really big Trekkie fans.
I love Star Trek.
Okay.
I just when I saw it, I thought it was just an expansion to Star Trek Online, which I'm kind of done with.
Right.
But now I'm excited to play an actual Star Trek game that isn't Bridge Crew. I'm still trying to play Bridge Crew. It's a VR game.
Another announcement, which was quite surprising. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. So like a zombie horde shooter.
I love John Carpenter.
What was the name of it, Brian? I missed
John
that.
Carpenter's Toxic Commando.
Toxic Commando. That's it.
Toxic Commando.
So it's got a really stupid name, but in a good way. Like it's like, oh
In a
yeah,
John
it's-
Carpenter
horror
way.
game?
yeah.
I love John Carpenter. Is it a horror game?
Yeah, so
No,
it's like a zombie
well-
horde shooter.
It's not a scary game, but it is a
Yeah.
horror game.
Yeah. So
It looked great.
yeah, we didn't get to see any gameplay if I recall. Like the zombies looked a bit weird, like they had red glowing eyes and shit like that. Like maybe demonic in some way. Sorry?
Probably. It's called John Carpenter likes a little bit of supernatural.
Yeah.
His,
So
monsters.
they seem to have like some kind of demonic aspect to them, but yeah, you just basically mow down hordes of monsters and have a good time doing it. So
Maybe this will be a good one.
yeah, maybe so. It definitely looked like.
I mean,
it could
I
be
love
fun.
John Carpenter, so I'm gonna keep my eye on it because John Carpenter's The Thing is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, and Bon Jovi was playing on a cover of Bon Jovi.
Oh.
Yeah,
playing
living on a
in the
prayer.
trailer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because
Okay.
during the show.
Shot through the heart. Wasn't it that one?
No,
Was
that's
it?
Shot Through the Heart.
I
Yeah.
think it was
You give
Living
love
on
a
a
think it was
bad
Shot
name.
Through the Heart
That's you,
because they-
that's you give love a bad name.
Yeah, I think that's what it was on the radio because they stopped everything and then they all sang it together.
Yeah, and I sang it as well because I was like, "Oh, it's Bon Jovi." And you're like, "Is it?" And then I just kicked in.
Well,
at
because
the
it was a
exact
cover,
same time.
right?
Yeah. But yeah, it was
I
funny.
mean, I'm gonna keep my eye on because zombie games are a little played out for me these days, but I do love me some John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Also, if they're doing a cover, that might be stream safe.
it might be.
That's
Maybe.
true.
They might have made it specifically for the game.
Yeah, that was announced for 2024. No specific date, unfortunately, but something to look forward to. And then there was Sandland, which was
Sandland.
like a
Oh.
Dragon Ball.
It looks like Dragon Ball. I was about to say that art style.
Yeah, so like at first I couldn't really tell what it was. I thought it was maybe a Borderlands game, but yeah, just got announced. I'm not a massive Dragon Ball fan. I didn't watch it.
I
when
love
was a
Dragon
kid.
Ball.
Is there something
I'm
you'd be
not, but I
interested in
love
playing?
Kakarot, the game, so
Oh, Kakarot the game was awesome, dude.
that's how I learned the Dragon Ball story by playing Kakarot.
It's a great game. That's a great choice.
It was fun.
Yeah, it's
Sandland. Oh wait, someone had just explained. Sandland is a manga by the same creator.
Oh, that's why it looks
Right.
similar then.
That's
Right.
that. There you go.
Is there
It could be fun.
something-
It looked like fun.
It looks
Yeah.
great, man.
Is this
Dude,
something you would both play?
I like
or...
Akira Toriyama.
Yeah,
I'll play
I
it.
probably
like
would,
Akira-
even though I fucking hate anime.
You say that, but sometimes anime comes on screen and you're like, "Oh, this looks quite good, actually." You seem to be in two minds about
Name
anime.
Name one time I've ever said that ever.
During the showcase, something anime happened, and you were like, "Oh, this looks."
You
quite
mean
good,
the
actually."
visual novel?
I think so. Yeah.
I didn't say I liked that.
there
I
was-
said
no,
I
there-
can see
there was
people
some-
wanting this.
and
He's turning. Peachy's slowly turning.
Honkai Star Rail, they were showing some stuff for that, and you're like, "Oh yeah, the models look cool, and all the anime girls and stuff like that." So yeah, he's on the
Which
fence.
game was that?
the Genshin Impact's like other game?
Oh my
Honkai
God.
No,
Star
I liked
Rail.
everything
Yes.
apart from the anime girls. Because
You
there was two
literally,
anime.
you were like, "Oh, this looks quite good." Like you literally said.
Yeah, the game looked quite good,
No,
but
you
then there's anime
referenced-
girls in
you
it, so it's
referenced
anime.
the
Honest-
anime girls specifically.
Brian, Peachy's on his way to saying "ooh woo" one day.
He is. He's gonna say ooh. He's gonna be made it up. Cat ears.
Oh, I don't have it on this soundboard, but I've got
Oh,
a
he's
lot
already
of
dressed up as the
recordings
maid.
of
He's
me
halfway
saying
there.
ooh. I've cat
I think
ears.
You've already dressed up as a maid, sir.
Halfway there. You're gonna start your own maid cafe.
Okay, my chat is
Oh
annoyed
my
at me now.
gosh.
You've ruined my entire brand.
Now, we know you're a
I'm gonna have to
closet
grow my
weeb.
hymen back now.
We all know you're in denial.
Definitely in denial. So there were some more announcements. There were quite a few that came out. They, I think, said that early access for Power World is January. So for those of you who don't quite remember Power World, it's kind of like Pokemon, except the Pokemon have guns and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
and
Pokemon
you can,
with guns.
yeah, and you can basically use them for
Wait, was that
slave
on the
labor.
first one or the Day of the Devs one?
That was on the first one, I think, so on the actual Summer Games Fest.
Oh, they got money. Oh, they're opening to early access because they need money.
Yes, so that'll be in January.
Because somebody was making it as a laugh, clearly, and then everyone was like, "No, I want this," and they're like, "Oh, okay, maybe we should try."
Yeah, when it was first announced, it received quite a lot of obviously acclaim, and people were like, "Oh, this looks like kind of cool," but it also kind of fucked up and weird, like Pokemon with guns and slave labor and shit like that. But yeah, it's going into early access in January.
They got a publisher. Did they?
No idea. Game about collecting monster friends and then equipping them with guns. Does it say? Summer Games Fest. I don't believe Power
Probably
Pocket Pair.
self-publishing.
Mm.
Do we have?
It looks
Kinda
stupid
cute.
anyway. I
Oh my
definitely
god, I
say
just
that.
said it looked
Yeah,
cute.
Pocket Pair,
Once you said
self-published.
that. Oh man.
Sorry, say that again.
Right when I said it, that looks cute, Peachy goes, it looks stupid.
It does because they got like MG42s and it's a Pokemon.
I'm just looking. I know. I just.
Look at it.
Yeah.
I might not play it. I just say it looks kind of cute, and you're just.
It looks stupid, but in a way that I
was
want
trying
to play it.
Positive.
I mean,
I'm positive. I want to play it. It looks stupid.
yeah, I'll be checking
I
it
love
out.
cute stuff. I'll check it out.
Yeah,
Legally
absolutely.
distinct Pokemon. Someone's getting sued, dude. Those sheep. I don't know.
It is a little bit sussy, but yeah, self-published. Pocket Pair is the developer and the publisher, and that is early access 2024 January. Then there was the Lord of the Rings Return to Moria.
Oh, my
Oh,
God,
yeah,
another Lord
there's
of the Rings game.
It was a survival crafting Lord of the Rings game out of nowhere.
Yeah, you get to play
Forgot
as
about that.
dwarves basically, and it looks kind of cool. I kind of got like third-person Dungeon Keeper vibes from it, where you could like dig tunnels and shit.
Oh my God, I love Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah, so
It doesn't look anything like it's going to be a Dungeon Keeper game.
I don't see Dungeon Keeper at all, but I know as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh, my ears went up. Like, oh, I love
think
Dungeon
it's just the
Keeper.
mining mechanic is a straight
Probably.
tunnel.
Yeah, you don't get to
I know
slap
what
the
you mean
goblins,
when you
man.
said that. Like
yeah,
you
so
build the
when I said that,
rooms
like
and-
obviously prefaced with third person, I didn't mean like isometric build an actual dungeon kind of thing. Like
no slapping goblins,
Yeah.
unfortunately for me.
no
Goblin
Reaper
abuse.
coming through trying to
I
slaughter
mean, that's what Dungeon
everything.
Keeper basically was a goblin abuser game.
I used to love Dungeon Keeper. I was
I
so
love
upset
it.
when 3
Oh,
got
Dungeon
shut down.
Keeper Mobile is the greatest mobile game ever.
Don't. Just don't. I tried it. Just
How do you
don't.
feel when the AAA industry shit all over your childhood, Brian?
Oh my
It-
God,
it
I didn't even
upsets
play the
me.
mobile version.
It makes me weep.
But it's really hard to get the to get it playing on the PC. I think I downloaded with like I can't remember which one it was, like Game Pass or something, where I found a good Dungeon Keeper 2. I was so stoked I couldn't get to play on my computer, and I was like, well, fuck.
Yeah, I was really like bummed out when Bullfrog got shut down and Dungeon Keeper 3
Especially
went
because
down with
we
it.
were.
They got
Yeah,
shit canned.
yeah.
They didn't just get shut down. They got fucking shit canned.
Yeah, they did.
It was deeply upsetting. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis is getting a
I'm trying to
closed
remember what
beta.
that is. Ever
So-
Crisis.
It's basically like a remaster of the original game. So you had remake, then you've got remaster, and it's going to be on mobile. I think they're also remastering Crisis Core a little bit as well. Basically, they're remastering like aspects or games that are in the Final Fantasy VII universe on mobile and adding microtransactions, so you can change costumes and shit like that. So you can just like,
I bet you we won't just be changing costumes. I bet you
We'll
there's
see.
going to be horrible. I have signed up for the beta because I own a bunch of Final Fantasy games on mobile devices because they just have the games there. They're 12 fucking quid, but I do have them because I'm like, do you know what? I want to play the original Final Fantasy while I'm having a poop.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
I might check it out.
I've signed up for the beta, but this is probably 100% going to be microtransactions right up the arse.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. Then there was some more gameplay for Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden. It was a game that was shown back at the Game Awards in December, where you're some bloke who banishes ghosts, and you've got your own little special ghost lady with you to help you banish the ghost.
Wasn't this Don't Nod or something? Like the same people who did like Life is Strange?
I think it is Annapurna. I want to
If that's the one I'm thinking of. I remember something being announced, and they said it was by the creators of Life is Strange.
Yes,
I think that's the one I'm thinking. Yeah, I have good memories sometimes.
Don't Nod and Focus Entertainment are publishing it. But yeah, I think this one looks really cool. I've always
It looks kind of neat, actually. Don't you get to it's like you get to converse with the ghost to find out like what exactly why they're still here? It was like maybe I'm making that up.
Like no, you're right. So some of them you get to have a bit of a chinwag with, and you can be like, oh, you seem like a bit of a knobhead. I'm going to banish you. And then other ones you can be like, oh, you seem like you're alright. You could hang around a bit. Yeah, have a kind of
You're an alright chap.
Yeah. Let's go pop the kettle on and have some tiffin. Like, you know.
So is it Fatal Frame with options?
I guess so. No, Fatal Frame, you can't talk to them. You just tell them to strike a pose, man.
Yeah, there's definitely some action combat as well, from what I recall. And when you,
it looks kind of neato.
When you play as the ghost lady. I'm not the biggest fan of
Don't Nod.
Well,
but it looks kind of fun.
Focus Entertainment are the publisher, and almost every game that they publish, like they vet, and they tend to be pretty good. Like The Surge, there was it Green Hell or the other one. There's loads of games that they're a good AA publisher.
They are the ideal AA because they've got a bit of money to put into stuff. But they also do seem to go, oh, that's an interesting idea rather than a money-making idea. That's an interesting idea. Let's make that.
Yeah.
And they've got a bit of oomph because they are a pretty big AA. They're probably not far off getting up there.
No, 100%. There was also Baldur's Gate 3. They introduced some extra stuff. Not a lot really to say. I'm looking forward to it. It comes out in August, I believe. Very stoked for that.
Oh, finally.
Oh, they showed us some Twisted Metal. And
they did.
And there were no cars in it. There was
no cars.
There were no cars.
It was basically just Sweet Tooth beating up a black man. It was kind of weird. And then they added some cheesy comedy to it, and
I liked the comedy.
It was okay.
Twisted Metal always had like a lot of it was kind of tongue in cheek anyway. No cars.
There was
when you say Twisted Metal, do you think of, oh, that was a comedy game, or do you go, oh,
cars?
That's a game about cars.
It's all about fucking cars.
It is possible that all those cars are CG and they don't have them yet.
It could be, but yeah, it was basically Sweet Tooth fighting this dude. They had a conversation, and it was surprising because obviously the actor in it, I've forgotten his name. I swear it's like Chris something or whatever. Anthony Mackie?
The new Captain America.
Okay.
Yeah, the new Captain America dude. And basically, yeah, they're having a fight, and they crack a couple of jokes as they're fighting, and that was all they showed. It's
I don't think they got much. It didn't look expensive, but that does feed into all the money's going to CG, and we don't have CG yet, so here is a scene.
Yeah. They're also doing like the Darth Vader thing, so the voice of Sweet Tooth is not the person you're seeing on screen now. So you've got one person who's acting physically, and then you've got the voice actor who does the voice of Sweet Tooth. So yeah. I
still have to see this trailer. But
I want it to either be really good.
I want to keep an eye on it because I just really love Twisted Metal. It's been so long.
Car combat games are coming back as well.
Oh,
because we just got the alpha for Speed Freaks, the Warhammer car combat game.
So it's supposed to be Samoa Joe who's playing as Sweet Tooth.
Right, yeah.
Who's a wrestler.
So yeah, maybe it's gonna be good. Something yet to be seen, I think, is the verdict on this one. But go check out the trailer. It's interesting. Call of Duty stuff. Yeah, cool. They surprised us with Path of Exile. Very short trailer. ExileCon is next month in July. where we'll be
Are we
getting
gonna be
more info
covering
about it. ExileCon, probably not. I don't think they stream a lot of stuff. I'll probably mention some things in the podcast. I'll be checking stuff out myself. But they have a in-person ExileCon convention in New Zealand, so you get a lot of Path of Exile creators going over there. Loads of announcements. Path of Exile 2 will probably get announced, and the beta dates and things like that, which I predict are either going to be later this year or early next year. But yeah, they showed some really cool gameplay. I'm personally very stoked for that, of course. They're doing a Exoprimal crossover with Street Fighter, so you can get like robo skins for your Ryus and your whatever other characters.
Have either of you tested out Street Fighter? Did at least play the demo?
Not yet, no.
I checked out the demo. It's pretty, like, there's some cool RPG elements in it. I haven't picked up the full version because, like I said, like, I was playing Diablo 4, which we'll talk about later. And yeah, just my whole thought process on like not really playing a lot of fighting games. So $70 was a little steep, but from what I'm seeing, it's really nice.
Yeah, it's getting like rave reviews, 10 out of 10s, everything like that. We're eating good this month for games.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing, is that there's so many releases right now, so it's hard to keep up with everything. But there is a demo, and it was kind of neat to check it out right before the game came out. I think once it's maybe like a slow month, if there is a slow month coming up, it would be something I'll pick up.
Yeah, for sure. It's much like with Mortal Kombat. It's something I want to check out, mostly just to experience like the multiplayer, like open world combat, like you make your own character and shit like that. But also apparently the story mode's pretty good now.
I was picking fights with everyone, Brian.
Yeah. Did you look like some weird amalgamation of crazy limbs, or did you try and make something?
I tried to make myself look like me for once, and it's always funny because with those character creators, it's always great when you're like working on, you're like, oh wow, I finally got it, and then you see him emotional, you're like, well, fuck.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I've made a mistake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably check it out, but crossover with
there's just so many releases coming out, so it's hard to keep up with everyone, but I do want to check it out, so this is kind of neat.
Yeah. You got Lies of P. They showed us some more gameplay and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of Lies of P. You played it? Okay.
I played the demo. I'm going to play it a little bit later today after we're done with the podcast, because I didn't beat it. I didn't get through the whole thing. I just wasn't but it plays really nice. I was really impressed.
Right, so what we can do is in the second half, when we talk about what we've been playing this week,
we'll talk about it.
A bit more detail. I am interested.
I asked specifically if I could talk about it.
Yeah, no, for sure. They did the season 3 trailer for The Witcher, the last season.
How are we feeling about that?
I mean, I'm looking forward to it because I enjoy The Witcher. I'm also going to be a little bit sad by the time it finishes, because then I'll be like, bye Henry, kind of thing. And then of course Hemsworth is going to be replacing him in seasons thereafter. I'm concerned about how well it's going to do once Henry's left, because I suspect he's one of the people that kept the lore accurate into the books, and from what we've read, people who've been writing their shows have been like massive haters of the original books and trying to change things.
Is that always the case with shows? Like, they don't want to write the show they're writing, they want to write something else, but this is the chance they've got.
I think
because by using the familiarity of that IP, they're gonna get all those eyes on them, and then they're like, but now I'm gonna make it my own passion project.
But everyone hates it because you watch it because you want to see The Witcher.
Oh,
right?
I know. I'm 100% with you, but that's absolutely in my personal opinion where they're going with this. They think we're gonna nab these fucking losers who love The Witcher, but I fucking hate The Witcher, so I'm gonna make it my own thing, baby.
I think it's one of those like writing 101 things where, you know, in any kind of profession.
Remember the Halo show? Yeah.
Where like you're getting an education in a certain profession, be it writing, graphics design, whatever, and then you're always mentored into things like you do and you don't do. And I feel like this is one of those things where it's like, oh, if you're going to make an adaptation, you have to make it your own to get your name out there. So
no, you do have to do that, otherwise it's the same shit.
There's no point in like
you still have
taking on like an IP like that to adapt it and then fuck it up, because what all you're gonna do is it screws over your own like reputation, because now we're gonna be like, well, now we know you're the asshole who doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, but I think
I've never
once
read a Black Library book where I've gone, oh, this isn't Warhammer, but every book has been different and unique. Like, it's not hard to take something that is established and make it your own.
episode 10, it took Peachy a while, but he brought up Warhammer again.
Yeah, but I think that obviously there's a difference between taking an IP and then going, I'm going to make my own story in that IP, and then there's adapting the story. So I think what happens is people go, oh, let's adapt the story, but then make the story our own, and therefore they're making fundamental changes to said story, and that's what obviously gets the ire of fans, because they're trying to make a name for themselves, and it's like all the fans want is the original story, but in shiny live action.
Well,
you know?
you see, and it happens with so many things, like, because you even saw it with, like, I mean, even like you can even throw like Game of Thrones in there too, where the showrunners didn't want to they wanted to do their own thing, and that's why they sped up the process to end it the way they did. And same shit, it's like, you know, that's why people always will remember that show. It's like, well, it was cool once.
Yeah, it was cool when they were following the books for the most part, and then when the books ran out and they made their own stuff, it went to shit, and it's like,
also they like went on the record saying they wanted to make a show about the Confederacy, and it's like, oh, all right, that's a choice.
Yeah, like some people, sometimes controversy is just a way to get the clout. Though,
you get more eyes on you, I guess, but like the thing. Oh, go ahead.
I still think you
my headphones
need.
just broken. You guys continue talking. I can't hear you.
Brian, you're an absolute fucking peach, dude. And we're really worried about you and the amount of Monster you're drinking.
I'm worried about your urine content with how much Monster is in there.
Yeah,
I can hear you guys.
Hey, buddy.
Why are you talking about my penis?
I think it's very important to, if you're a writer, you do need to change stuff. You do need to adapt it. It's your story. You're writing it, but you have something to begin with. You can't just throw it all out. You can't do that.
Yeah,
because you're writing something else.
And the thing is, like,
you're given you that IP to write that IP.
When you think about it too, it's like you're fundamentally lying to the fan base by bringing them in by saying like, this is going to be like a Halo show, this is a Witcher show, and you as a fan going in like, oh hell yeah, that sounds awesome, and you go in there and you see something entirely different, and it's like you feel lied to. So now you're not gonna, if anything comes out of that studio or those showrunners again, you're not gonna want to fuck with them ever again. So that's why, like, you know, things like, you know, why people praise like The Last of Us so much was because they actually did follow the formula that they had.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the way you're supposed to be doing an adaptation, because I don't want to go in like, no, because now we have the reputation with The Witcher is that it's not at all like the books. They don't like the books and they didn't want to fuck with that. Well, so why
I think because of Cavill, it got pulled back, and then because people like The Witcher, I've not watched it because I don't give a shit, but people like The Witcher, right?
I like The Witcher 3. I played it.
And is that, it's probably because Henry's pulling on those strings to be, well, here's the book, this is what we're writing. So when he goes, there's no one to do that. Yeah. So
well, I know the show was based off the book, so even if I went to go watch it, I wouldn't really know what's different.
The third season, you said, Brian, was the game Wild Hunt.
No. So
okay.
So it's quite funny because people refer to The Witcher as a video game adaptation, but it is an adaptation of the books before The Witcher games. I think this season crosses over into the first two games, and obviously most people have played the third game. So for those of you who have played the third game, you'll have references in this show that you'd be like, oh yeah, they talk about this in the game at some point, but you won't actually reenact anything.
Isn't it still their own thing too?
I haven't played or read all the books. All I know is that they wanted to like make their own stuff and they didn't like a lot of the writing. They just liked the story. But from what I understood, they've kept to at least the major plot points, like Geralt and Yennefer hooking up and things like that, and there being the djinn and stuff like that.
Right.
So that is, it's got the backbone, and potentially with how Cavill going, that backbone of the books may just disappear. And to elaborate on the point we were making earlier, like if I was given the opportunity to create a show or an adaptation, it falls into two groups. It's, am I adapting a story from one medium to the other, or am I given an IP where I can make my own story from that universe? If it's the latter, go ham, take all the like the lore, the world building, the creatures,
like
and the
they
universe.
did with The Mandalorian first season.
Yes.
Right.
You know, they like perfect. Like you've got the Star Wars universe, but you made your own story with your own characters. It's all original. Whereas then with The Last of Us, they took The Last of Us game and was like, here's the story in live action kind of thing, and they didn't really change any of it. They added a couple of things to fill in space, which was, you know, made sense, but otherwise it was pretty much one for one, and it's what people wanted, and it got praised for that. There's so much adaptations that we've had where they've adapted the story, they've changed it so much, like the Wheel of Time. Fuck what they did with the Wheel of Time. I went on a massive
I don't want
rant.
to even talk about the Wheel of Time, please.
Yeah,
Let's not.
I had a massive rant about that the other day.
That's a very bad show.
Yes, it is. It's Dawson's Creek with magic. But yeah, so there's two ways to do it, and I think it depends on what you're given and told what to do. And I think a lot of writers fall into the trap of they try to make their original story from an original story, and that's where it goes wrong. But moving on. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, they revealed co-op and a lot more gameplay. 'Cause before we only saw like the Tyranids
is that
trailer.
A good reaction, Peachy, or a bad one?
No, it looked
great.
amazing.
It looked great.
Okay, I'm so glad.
So
I got really
good.
worried for you.
I'm pretty sure it's how I feel Leviathan. I'm pretty sure, which is the latest Tyrannic war. There's been multiple Tyrannic wars, and they've decimated Tyranids. Okay, quick rundown of what Tyranids do. They have this big bioship, right? And it floats over a place, and it drops seeds, if you will.
Yeah.
And it starts to grow Tyranids, and it will run over a planet, defeat anything that's on there, and then everything will die, including the Tyranids, and they'll suck up all that goop. Boom. They've just increased their power. They go to the next one, and they increase. And this has been happening, and there's different tendrils in the current storyline. And the current storyline is Leviathan. So this is probably Leviathan because they're using Primaris Marines, which are the newest type of Marines. In the end of the last one, he was taken away by the Inquisition. So I don't know how they're going to tie that in, because he didn't have any like badges or pendants, anything that said Inquisition. So I don't think he is Inquisition. But they do have their weapons chained to them, which means something. But I'm not going to spoil it because it might come up in the game. But we saw a shot, big wide open shot, Space Marine, and so many Tyranids. I have never seen so many enemies in one screen in my life, and I cannot wait to tear the fuck out of some nids.
I'm so glad.
Dude, sorry. I mean, tear the fuck out of some nids. I fucked it up.
I'm happy to hear that Peachy's happy.
It looks
I was
phenomenal.
smiling throughout all of that because
I was too.
Because Pulp went into, oh, okay, yeah, Marines, yeah, mode, and I was just like,
but I was listening to everything he was saying.
I know, and that's what makes me smile. Because I'm like, oh, bless her heart. Like, I really appreciate that you go to that effort to
I do. I
appreciate
listen.
it.
I'm an active listener, and I always just go like, because I want you to know I'm listening to you.
No, 100%. I always find it adorable.
That made me so happy that you're happy.
Yes, I agree. No, I agree. It does look good as well. It does look very, very good. Because and that's the thing with Warhammer games. Because with Warhammer games, it's always they throw that IP to the wind, and they're like, yeah, do what the fuck you want with our IP, and you'll get some like really horrible trash wank game that shouldn't have ever been made and burnt.
Not recently.
Like, they've toned it down a bit. They've had a couple of wins.
They have a Bible. They're still like, you want to pay for the IP, okay? But they have a Bible. They're like, you have to follow these things, and they'll give you a Bible. But
like historically, there's a lot of swings and
really
a lot of misses.
Games.
Yeah. And then you've got Space Marine and now Space Marine 2 and Bolt Gun, which is like the segue between the two. It's all looking very, very good and very promising. So.
There's been so many, like, as a Warhammer fan, there is some good food.
Yeah.
We're getting some good food.
That's awesome.
And also in World of Tanks, they've got Warhammer stuff now in World of Tanks.
Really?
Yeah, you can get some of it free through Twitch Prime.
World of Tanks is hilarious because on the World of Tanks forums, there are people who like work for the military and will actually
they drop fucking military secrets and shit.
So they're like like tank designs, like actual like tank blueprints and like military secrets. They'll just post them on the World of Tanks forums, so the World of Tanks devs can use them to make accurate like tanks and weaponry and shit, and then like the
Or
Department
they'll
of
have
Defense would be like, "What are you doing?" kind of thing.
They'll be having an argument and somebody like, no, the tank isn't like that, and then they'll post fucking top secret blueprints and go, actually, there it is.
Yeah,
and then the
actually
FBI
happened
like,
a lot. Yeah, like classified documents, like the Ministry of Defense, like Department of Defense or whatever, depending what country you're from. Like loads of like military organizations, like, can you fucking not? Like, we're taking you to court, you stupid bastards, and they just keep doing it over and over again. So yeah, always
crazy.
Always a giggle on the World of Tanks forums. There's Witchfire. They showed us some more gameplay. It's coming into early access in September. Witchfire is one that
Which one was that again? I'm trying to remember.
So Witchfire is like a first-person shooter with a bit of a like Western vibe to it, but also magic. So you've got like a guy with guns that are made of fire. The bullets are made of fire and stuff like that. It's something that I've kept an eye on, and I'm looking forward to potentially playing. Hopefully it's good. It looks very, very pretty. It has a lot of character from what I've seen.
It does look pretty. Ooh.
Yeah, so it's like Western meets demons kind of thing. So hopefully it will be pretty good. Maybe it's got a bit of a Van Helsing vibe to it, you could say, perhaps.
Yeah, it does look very pretty, actually.
Yeah, so it's a relatively small studio from what I recall making it, but
I don't really like Westerns, but I like a bit of Western flavor in some of my stuff.
Yeah, same. Like I can appreciate it. It's because sometimes it's just nice to have like the OG style of guns and stuff as opposed to just automatic weapons for days. You know what I mean?
Hunt is great for that.
Yeah, no, Hunt is another good one. That does that quite well. Then there was also scrolling through. Was there something for Warframe, or am I losing my mind? There was a Warframe drop. Did they show us anything?
Yeah, there was
Warframe?
a Warframe drop. No, I don't think they did.
Which was a really odd choice of drop. But yeah, there was a Warframe drop. If you were watching the like us, for example.
There's a lot of Warframe players.
That's true. That is very, very true.
Space ninjas. Who doesn't like space ninjas?
They showed more Remnant 2.
Ninjas.
So if you played Remnant of the Ashes.
2.
Remnant.
Yeah, Remnant. So basically Souls with guns. It was very, very popular when it first came out. It looks very, very good too for this one, and that's coming out in July.
I never played it, but I know
this one's got a different vibe to the first one, because the first one was like, oh, the world is dead, and now it looks like something has completely taken over the world, and I don't know, it had a different vibe.
I think it's just more worlds, because in the first one you went to like different worlds and dimensions and stuff like that. So I think
you reckon those are worlds?
I think it's just more. Yeah, I think it's just more of that, to be honest. But yes, July 25th is the launch date for that. Very soon, actually, considering the first whispers of it were around the Game Awards when they announced it.
Oh, was that when they announced it?
Yeah, so like
I'm sure they said they were working on it when they were doing DLC for the original.
They may have alluded to it.
Yeah, maybe it was that.
Okay.
Rather than saying they were doing it.
Yeah, it's just nice to have like, here's an official announcement, and here's the game in close proximity, as opposed to here's the Elder Scrolls 6 here in a decade, which we might see tomorrow potentially at the showcase. But yeah, things like
Hopefully.
that. So it looks again quite promising.
Not holding my breath though.
Yeah, like we'll probably just get another teaser trailer of some sort, I imagine. It's I think they did say in one of their shareholder conferences that there's a game that they are going to be developing for a very long time, and it's probably that one, to be honest. There was Under the Waves, which was like you get to be in the sea. It looked very, very tense. Yeah. It looked kind of chill and vibey, maybe some Subnautica vibes kind of thing. So my confession about games like this is I have like a really deep rooted fear of like dark water, so like I don't touch these with like a fucking 10-foot pole. No, I can completely understand.
You would hate Iron Lung.
I have Iron Lung and I plan on playing it anyway.
It's so good. It is so good. It has spawned a genre called the Lung-like.
Interesting.
Markiplier's editor just made one. I can't remember the name of it right now.
The Lung-like. So what is that, like a Subnautica type thing as well, or like is it just...
No, it's very close off.
I'm referring to like you know, like anytime it's like, oh, you get to swim through the ocean, that's where I'm like, that's where that comes out, because I terrifying.
Island is a horror game where you are in a very small submarine and you can't move from the submarine. It's made by the Dust
That
developer.
doesn't scare me.
Right,
I'm not
okay.
claustrophobic by any
It's
stretch.
made by someone involved in New Blood.
Right.
Okay. I've been meaning to play it.
Is it David Zemeski, I think? He makes fantastic games. Anything with his name on it, just play it. You'll love it.
Right. They also announced Lizfanga, the time shift warrior. So I remember looking at this and thinking this looked cool, but I also remember looking at this and going, this looks like Hades at the same time.
It does look like Hades. I was going to say something about that.
I think there's going to be a puzzle aspect to this combat. I think that's why we have multiple people to defeat a boss.
Quite possibly.
It's kind of like an inverse Souls, because Souls gets harder the more you die. This one seems that's how you win.
Quite possibly. I mean, it was a very, very short trailer. It was 1 minute and 10 seconds long. Art style looks cool. Again, quite reminiscent in some ways to Hades with the Greek-like mythology. I don't know if it is Greek, but obviously the art style and like the colonnades and stuff like that look very, very Greek. But yeah, looks really cool. Something to look forward to, and hopefully takes on the masses, much like Hades did. It's not the same developers, to be clear. It just looks very inspired by, I think, is the best way to phrase it. Right. Then there was also, scroll down to the bottom because it's easier. There's Party Animals gets a release date that is coming out in September on the 20th. There is Throne in Liberty. We don't care about Throne in Liberty because it's bad.
What is that?
It's bad. Don't waste your time on it. It's what was that game we were just talking about where you get shown a really cool trailer and it looks really, really good, and then you get the game and it's bad?
Marines.
Yes, so imagine that, but with an MMO. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about Throne Liberty. It's bad. It's very, very, it's very bad. But yes.
MMO players will play it regardless.
They probably will, and then they'll be like, you're right, it was bad. Why did we do this? Why do we hate ourselves? Why kind of thing. And I can understand that.
MMO players be like, I'm going to burn through all this content, and there's like 120 hours worth of content. They're like, where's the content, bro?
It's because they're looking for their forever game. They miss the times where they were a teenager and they could binge games for months at a time and have no responsibilities, and now they have to go and make breakfast, and it's just like, oh, I can't do that now. I've got a dungeon to farm. But yeah,
I've got to make breakfast.
I've got to make breakfast. I've got to eat. You've got to
breakfast
poo on a regular schedule and things like that. So yeah, there was also Fae Farm, which is 3D life sim.
They look cute.
Thing.
It looks cute. I love me a good farming simulator. I'm right now. I'm only waiting for Wonderful Life from Story of the Seasons. That looks great.
Yeah. That was everything from Summer Games Fest. There was also the Day of the Devs and the Devolver Showcase. Should we go into a break before we continue?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Probably a good idea.
Right, so folks, go get yourselves a drink, go get yourselves a snack and whatnot. We will be RB. Mics will be hard.
Oh.
And we'll be back in 5. Welcome back, everyone, to part 2 of the episode 10 of the Fully Rented podcast. We have got some more gaming-related talk. I'll quickly blast through a couple of highlights from Day of the Devs. Viewfinder was one for me. Peachy, what was a highlight for you from Day of the Devs?
There were 3. I can't. It kind of all the indie stuff merged into one. Henry Hellsgate, Henry Halfhead. Oh, what was the walking one?
There was the Viewfinder one was the camera one, and then
the Viewfinder that looked interesting, but I've been interested in that for quite a while. It's been flown around for a bit.
And then there was another one where you could come out of the level and pick the level up and carry the level with you.
Oh yeah, that puzzle game.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the name of that?
I can't
Put it on my
remember.
wish list. Hang on, let me just open my wish list real quick.
Yeah, if you're interested, chat, go check out those on Steam. They look like some really, really cool and interesting games.
Cocoon.
That was it. Yes. So Cocoon is like a top-down isometric, like Tunic and stuff like that. But you could come out of the level, like you would zoom out of it and sort of jump out of like this marble or pearl, and you could pick the level up, and then you would use that to solve puzzles. So like, if something was coming towards you that you needed to avoid, you could jump into the level, the thing would pass over the marble, and then you could jump back out of the marble, and you could then use the marble to like navigate gaps where in the level that you jump into there would be a bridge, and then there isn't in another level, and it would be level. It was very Inception-y, for lack of a better phrase. Lots of things.
The reveal trailer does look a little.
It's gonna be a devilishly difficult puzzle game, I think.
It looks really neat,
I'm
actually.
trying to think.
Yeah.
I think this developer has made or was working on a crazy puzzle game before. I can't remember the name of it, but just watching it, like it just looks like, oh, we're gonna get complex here, and I like that of a puzzle game. I don't like streaming that because I'm sat there for ages going, oh, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But I do like a puzzle game that teases my brain. Also, the animation of jumping in and coming out of the worlds was just just took my breath away. It was like, wow, they really worked on this simple animation to just make it powerful. I don't know how they did, but
it almost had like a Ratchet and Clank vibe with the latest game, where you could just jump through and you were instantly in another world, no load screen or anything like that, but it was just this really nice smooth animation. So yeah, that looked really, really cool. Viewfinder is where you take pictures and then you use that picture to suddenly create a three-dimensional space, or adapt a three-dimensional space to navigate things, like a walking puzzle simulator. That looked really, really cool.
there were also boss fights in Cocoon, which was interesting.
Yeah. Hellskate was skating meets demons meets combat with hammers and stuff, where you could just batter things with giant axes whilst pulling off an ollie at the same time. That
sounds awesome.
Yeah,
it looked proper old school Tony Hawk skating as well.
Yeah. It definitely looked very, very arcadey, I think it is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And yeah, what was the other one I mentioned?
I'm the Devolver one I'm thinking of.
Henry Halfhead. Yeah. So Henry Halfhead.
Halfhead.
Oh my God, Henry Halfhead is a sex game. It's not a sex game. It's not a sex game. So it's like Gary's mod, where you or the Mario game where you throw the hat and then suddenly you become the object the hat is on, kind of thing. It was really weird. You played half a head with a gargantuan nose, and then you needed to make a cup of tea, so you would possess the kettle to turn the kettle on, and then you would enter the jar of tea bags to then put the tea bag in the cup. You would then enter the cup to move the cup into the kettle, and you had to go through a door, so you possessed the door to open the door. It was really, really weird.
And it has his nose and eyes on it.
Perpetually long nose. Yeah, it was very bizarre. Go check out the trailer, Henry Halfhead. You'll be looking at
Is it on Steam?
I believe it's on Steam. Yeah. Otherwise, the trailer should be on YouTube.
Oh, I see it. Oh God.
Yeah, I remember throughout the trailer just perpetually being in like this state, going just like that. Like for
I was laughing my ass off the entire time.
Listeners, I looked.
This looks
profoundly
awesome.
confused.
Actually, I love the art style. It's so cute.
Yeah, it was a very weird looking game.
For the Games Fest, I didn't put any of those on my wish list. The second day of the devs came on, I was wish listing games like crazy.
Yeah, same.
Indies took it for the
Indies have been killing it for a while now, though. To be fair,
I think it's because they've had this confidence boost, and obviously with the industry and the way it is in terms of like influencer marketing and things like that, they get a lot more eyes on it now. Whereas indies before, it was like,
that's very true, actually.
We made a game and people are like, we've never heard of it. Whereas now it's like, we've made a game and it could potentially go viral and become the next big thing. And even you've got like your micro viral hits as well, where it's not exactly taken over the world.
These games don't cost anywhere near the price of AAA. So if that goes mini viral, that's profit. Yeah, like they can make another game.
And just to reiterate something I mentioned during the live reaction, if you do like a game, particularly if it's indie, do wishlist it. It makes a big difference. It's like liking a video on YouTube. It plays with the algorithm. It helps the developers out a lot. So if you are interested in the game, make sure you do wishlist it, as it
I agree.
gets them.
I've been wishlisting as you guys have been reading things.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Moving on. So the Xbox showcase and PC gaming show are both tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
Yes.
Devolver as well. There was a game called Baby Steps.
Yes,
which is fucking phenomenal.
Baby Steps. Yeah, so it's a physics game where you're basically playing like this shut-in like middle-aged man who lives in his mum's basement suddenly gets transported to like a mountain, and you have to, and you'll you'll get a bit where it'll click in a moment and you'll be like, oh, and you'll be filled with dread. But basically, you control this person by moving their legs. So it's a physics
Yeah,
sim.
you play as the legs of a middle-aged man.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
God.
you have to like
That sounds
walk him through a
amazing.
mountain trail, and it involves Bennett Foddy, who
Yeah.
made
T-pose out of here is like pretty great. It looks awesome. I just wishlisted it. It looks really cool.
Well, have you ever played Getting Over It? Where you're the dude who's like in a cauldron and you have a hammer and you have to navigate
Oh yes,
through...
I do know that game.
Yeah, the
I never
ridiculously
played
hard
it, but I never got around to playing it. But I know I've seen a lot of people play it.
Well, the creator's Bennett Foddy, and he's involved in this.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to have some extraordinarily frustrating moments. The trailer was actually hilarious. I was streaming Diablo 4 directly afterwards, and one of my friends came into the voice comms, and I was like, go watch this trailer. And you could just hear him laughing his tits off the entire time whilst I'm there like killing demons, and he's just giggling away in the corner. So yeah, go check out that trailer as well. Quite funny. Look very much looking forward to that. Moving on though, as I said, we've got the Xbox and PC gaming showcase tomorrow. We will be co-streaming that for you guys in the UK and Europe. That will be 6 p.m. British summertime for the Xbox showcase. That goes on for about 2 hours, I want to say. Then there's an hour which we'll probably fill in with either the Future Game Showcase, which was today, or the Tribeca one, which I believe is also today. And then we'll be watching the PC gaming show. Now the question is there any...
What time is that for my time?
I'll have to tell you later.
That's...
Yes, I will get the time for you. But is there any predictions or games that you guys really want to see either revealed at PC Gaming Show or Xbox? Or anything that you just think they will drop?
I mean, didn't we just talk about Elder Scrolls?
Yeah, so I suspect there'll be some form of Elder Scrolls coverage.
I'm not really like, I don't have anything that comes to mind. I'm just really excited to see everything that gets revealed.
So
Hopefully I don't get let down.
I suspect, I never actually played this, but it's something that they announced a long time ago, and we haven't seen anything about it since, and that's Fable. Are either of you Fable gamers? Fable enjoyers?
I love Fable. Fable 2 is the best.
Yeah, so I suspect they maybe open with Fable or close with Fable. Sorry, what was that, Peachy?
Molyneux. I'm not a fan of Fable because I was sold a different game.
Oh, okay.
And the remake was, how'd you break Fable? Like, come on. Fable was actually a decent game, but
Right.
Molyneux.
I don't understand that reference.
You don't know who
but okay.
Peter Molyneux is?
Doesn't ring a bell.
No.
Okay, remember Milo, the Kinect tech demo thing?
No.
You don't remember Milo?
No. Still
there
no.
there was an AI child that you had to grow and would react to in real time, and you could have full-on conversations with it.
Again,
You don't
no.
remember Milo?
Still no. Gonna
All right.
continue
If
with
you know
no.
what Milo is, I want it in the chat in the comments.
Creator of
All right.
Dungeon Keeper? Is that who it is?
That's who Molyneux is, yeah.
Right.
Okay, there you go.
The more
Brian,
power he
we
got, the
should've-
more
Brian,
lies came
we
out of
really
that
should have known that
fucking
one.
mouth.
I didn't pay attention to who directed
he
it
made-
when I
well,
was that
I
young.
didn't-
He
when I
made
was a
that- he
kid,
made
I didn't
God
pay attention to
Sims.
shit.
He invented God Sims with like Parodius and all that crap.
Right, okay.
Everyone's having flashbacks now going, I remember Milo.
Yeah, Milo, don't remember that one. I think there was Creatures. I played that one where it was like Pocket Monsters, like Tamagotchi kind of shit, but on PC, and you just raised like little weirdo creatures.
He's been involved in a lot of games.
He's now more known for lying, over
Yeah.
promising.
Yeah. He just overpromises and will tell you the game will do anything.
That's a horrible reputation.
Yeah, that's
It
pretty
came a
good.
point in the latter of his career where he wasn't allowed to go anywhere without a team of PR around him telling him, no, don't say that.
Like,
Don't say this.
Stop talking
Like,
shit. Basically.
It's horrible. He's a man who's very excited about the prospects of video games and then just overpromises.
Right. Nah.
Ooh.
I can understand that, I suppose.
Yeah,
Enthusiasm.
but it happens so often, Brian. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, nah, that's fair. But yeah, I suspect they'll probably drop some Fable news, because again, it's been like literally years since they
love that.
showed us anything. There's obviously the Bethesda showcase, which is pretty much going to be 90% Starfield, and like I said, we'll probably get some Elder for
Probably ESO.
Yeah. Is there anything that you suspect that they may drop, or you hope they drop for either showcase?
Mullet Magic. I'm looking for some more stuff on that. Boomer Shooter looks fucking ridiculous.
Right.
But there's been some teasers dropped in places, and I'm like, oh, are they setting up like a full-on trailer for that? So maybe.
Okay. Anything else?
Someone in my chat said Persona 3 remake. I forgot that was even like announced.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm actually looking forward to
that'd be great.
Stormgate, which is the Frost Giant devs. So the folks who were originally StarCraft devs for Blizzard. And obviously Blizzard were like, we're not doing StarCraft anymore. So they were like, well, we're not working for you anymore. Bye. And they made their own developer, Frost Giant. And they're making their own RTS, which is basically like StarCraft meets Diablo. So I'm just like, fuck yeah, that looks sick. Where you can play like against demons whilst also making like your own little Space Marine dudes. So hopefully that'll be a really cool RTS game.
Oh, RoboCop, Rogue City. Maybe they'll have a trailer ready.
Another trailer?
Oh, yeah, that's
you
like
weren't that
the
impressed with
game.
the first one, were you? The first
I was
trailer.
worried, but then I remember who made it, which is the company who made the Terminator 2 games.
Right,
and they kind of nailed it. So
hopefully that was pretty cool. Hopefully so. Were there any games, Pulp, that you were hoping?
Not really. I mean, I haven't really been keeping up to date with anything, so that's why I'm saying so with Xbox, I'm not really too well versed with it because
Right.
I don't have an Xbox. I barely use Game Pass, but I'm excited to see what gets announced. So I'm coming in with open eyes.
Right.
Like,
Ooh.
yay!
Cyberpunk DLC, maybe a release date.
What, the Phantom Liberty? Probably.
The Phantom Liberty. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Isn't that Metal Gear?
No,
Sounds like a Metal Gear title.
pretty sure it's Cyberpunk.
Well, that one anyway.
Yeah. With Idris Elba as like the main character.
Oh yeah, we haven't heard anything about the Cyberpunk DLC.
Well, one
So
thing we
maybe
have heard.
Maybe I would love to hear something about that finally.
One thing we have heard, just slightly off topic with regards to Cyberpunk, is they are making their own studio, and it's called Blank, literally called Blank, not to fill in what the studio name is. They're basically going to be a up to 50-person team where they make what the fuck they want. They're literally,
that would be cool.
yeah, they're
That would
literally
be cool.
going to be like, go do what you want, no crunch, just make what you want, see if it's cool, if you like it, put it out in the world. So
They tried to do No Crunch before, and gamers got mad.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the issue with that was it was on Cyberpunk, and they were like, yeah, we don't do crunch, it'll be ready when it's ready, and then stakeholders were like, no, it's gonna be ready now, you stupid bitches, and then it went to shit. Whereas I think the idea with the studio is like, okay, we want to make this little small studio, let them make their own ideas, go creatively wild with it, and have no pressure, because it's just like a little side project that we've just thrown some money at, kind of thing. So hopefully that would be cool. Peachy, you wanted to talk about Bobby Kotick.
Okay, Bobby Kotick, that renowned, famous piece of absolute shit. Right, so you know when
Tell us
all
how you really
the
feel.
oh, sorry, what I meant to say
Nice guy,
was
right? Nice guy though.
large umbrella.
Yes.
So there was a lawsuit, right, against Activision Blizzard. We had the Cosby suite. Loads of developers came out with either reporting harassment or witnessing harassment. It was called a
Sorry, and they did an internal investigation and found that they weren't that bad.
Well,
internal investigation found out that company it was investigating itself wasn't that bad, allegedly.
yes. Well, Activision, Kotick said that where was it? Blah 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 blah. I'm sorry, we did not provide the right empathy and understanding when they did that original one that was like, oh, nothing's wrong, and we're going to put into place a third-party law firm, which is a law firm that works not only with a lot of corporations, but directly with Activision themselves anyway.
Yeah.
So
Wasn't
yeah,
it
I'm
the
sure that's
union
good.
busting one as well.
He was talking about swift action, long-lasting change, and he recently did an interview with Variety, and he entirely places the blame for most of Activision's image problems. Not problems, image. It's just it's optics, right? And what he calls outside forces and labor activity around the company. So his entire apology, this one is saying, yeah, I didn't mean any of that. We're good. Everyone's just looking at us badly because of union action.
Yeah. So
Hashtag Bobby Kotick get the
yeah. TLDR
I
is
did it again.
notorious cunt is still a cunt. Basically, is what we're going with there. So yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, one of the reasons he said that none of this was true, is because if you think that was true, would I still be the CEO? The shareholders would have kicked me out because shareholders are famous for having strong ethics, and regardless of someone making them money, they will get rid of them because they don't care about money. They care about ethics.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's not true because he's still running the show because Activision Blizzard make a metric fuck ton of money.
They do.
They make so much money under his leadership, but at the cost of all these developers and people who work under him. It's horrific. And the man needs to go. And he won't go.
He won't, unfortunately. And even when he does,
Get out of
he
here.
runs away with 300 mil. His golden parachute.
Just pay the man. Just go
Yeah.
away.
Just get rid.
Just go away.
But a nice guy though.
Oh yeah, actually, you know. Oh.
Fabulous man. Wears really nice chino trousers. So moving on.
What Cheetos?
I had to rant. I'm sorry.
No,
No,
good.
it's fine. I
It's all good.
respect that.
Also,
I respect that a lot.
Apple have announced a $3,500 VR /
No, they haven't.
augmented reality.
They've said nothing about VR. It is 100% just AR. It is augmented reality for $4,000.
I'm pretty
They've
sure
not mentioned. They've not
there is
mentioned.
some VR in it as well. It's
So
just VR
there probably
and AR.
will be some VR, but they didn't mention it. They've actually started a cool thing about getting games onto Apple products.
Yes.
I can't remember what it was called. Can you remember the name of the?
I do
thing?
not, but yeah, it's actually interesting because obviously Apple are known for being the workstation computer, whereas PCs, personal computers, which is actually branding by IBM, are now known as like the gaming machines. But back in the day, Apple were the gaming machines, Macs were the gaming machines, and then they just completely
came out on Mac first, right?
and they just completely flipped the marketing. They were like, okay, let's double down on making workstation machines, and then obviously IBM was no longer the only PC gaming computing manufacturer, so then gaming exploded on PC. So now Mac are trying to claw back, or Apple, sorry, are trying to claw back the gaming market, which is good because whilst I won't ever play on a Macintosh-based computer, those who do own those computers, I want them to play games more the merrier.
I know.
M2 is a hell of a chip.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot of people I know who only use Mac, and I've heard from them where they say that they wish they could play some of the games that are only available on PC. So that's awesome. That's good for them.
Yeah, so
But this headset is nearly $4,000 US.
yeah.
What?
Yeah, if
to
you
be fair,
want,
to be fair, there's some sick tech in it. There
There
is some
is.
sick tech in it, and it
but
looks.
who cares the shit? It's $4,000.
You know the like you can. So one of the bits of tech it's got, like obviously you've got a VR headset and it looks like this, and you're like, "Hello, I look like a twat," kind of thing, and it's just this giant thing that covers your face. Whereas what they've done is they've got cameras and sensors in it that can see your eyes, and will put that on the front of the headset, and it actually looks okay. No, it
It
actually
looks like you're wearing
okay.
ski goggles, and it's not even. You realize what's the point in putting R&D into
Oh
that?
my god,
Yeah, but
that sounds. I'm not gonna lie, guys. That sounds horrifying.
No, it actually, I
just
genuinely.
like imagine. I just have like this vision of like since Brian just put on his VR headset, and it's like almost these like computer generated eyeballs,
No,
like right in the
it
front.
looks good. It genuinely looks good.
Brian,
like it
looks like this.
No, it doesn't. It
looks like this,
nothing
Brian.
like that. It looks nothing
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
like-
Cost
Googly
$4,000, Brian.
It looks nothing like that. You're a liar and a vagrant, sir. No,
That's the shit.
it genuinely looks good.
You know, I believe you, Brian. It just the way you described it sounded so
No.
utterly horrifying.
No, because like it's when you've got these things on your face, it's very uncanny valley. But because it's not as dense as well, it's a lot more shallow in comparison to like the Vive is like a good 4 inches deep there. Yes, I promise that's 4 inches. But, yeah. Whereas the Apple one, the Vision
heard
Pro,
that
I think it's
before.
called, it's probably only an inch or two deep. So not from me, she hasn't. Just to clarify for the listeners, just to clarify, just to clarify. But yes. But because you can essentially like see these eyes, it looks, for lack of a better phrase, a little more natural. I say in air quotes there. But there is some really crazy technology in the headset. But yeah, $3.5 grand is pretty crazy.
The concept of having AR, like computing, they give it a fancy name. I don't give a shit. It's cool, but it's a concept. It's $4 fucking grand. Like
That's a lot.
But then it's Apple.
The
like,
new what's Mac's
it's
computer
Apple.
called now?
Unfortunately, Apple has always been more overpriced in general. I mean, the technology is there. It's just
it's like £700 or $700 a wheel for the
what is the computer called?
The Mac Pros?
What's the name? Is it the Pros?
Yeah,
so if you want to get it fully spec'd out, you can't update one of these. If you want more RAM, you have to order it.
You have to buy a new one. Yeah. The cheapest one. The cheapest one.
That's the thing
$7
I always
Yeah.
struggle with Apple is the fact that there's, because I use an iPhone and like my battery's it's starting to slow down and shit like that. But like anytime like there's something wrong with the machine, you always have to take it to an Apple store. So that's like so like
that's how much a fully spec'd Mac is going to cost you.
Do tell.
13?
15 grand
15
American.
grand,
15 grand.
Yeah, the base version, so the cheapest one is $7 grand. And like I said, if you want to upgrade like the RAM, you have to buy another $7 grand PC. You can't just upgrade the RAM. Yeah, like monitor stands for $1 grand. It's
that all?
Yeah, Apple are
So that's ridiculous, Brian. But they did announce something really cool. Apart from the gaming thing, which I do think is cool.
Yeah.
The 15-inch MacBook Air is $1,300.
Okay.
It's got a liquid retina display, so this is the new display technology.
Right.
500 nits brightness, which is really good. You could like go out in the sun and it would be fine. 18 hours battery. Like for a laptop, that's probably one of the most capable laptops you're gonna get without going crazy on it, right?
Yeah.
As a workstation for $1,300. That's brilliant. That's a couple
bad,
more.
though, to be honest.
A couple more dollars than their smaller 13-inch one.
Is that with a M2 chip?
M2. It's got M2 as well.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's brilliant. Like the one thing, like all the other shit, I'm like, oh, fuck off. Apart from the game thing, I was like, oh, that if I wanted a laptop, I'd probably go for that. That's pretty fucking good.
And to be clear, for those listening, that is the sort of laptop that you would want if you were into.
The headset only lasts for 4 hours. Jesus.
18 hours.
Like,
the headset.
Yeah,
the headset.
The
not
laptop,
plugged in. That's when it's not plugged in.
Yeah, it can be plugged in as well.
As long as it can be plugged in. That's why I don't use Bluetooth anyway.
For those listening though, those types of laptops, that's not the sort of laptop people like. Oh, I want to buy that for gaming and things like that. It's a workstation laptop. You'd want that for like video editing, like CPU heavy things. Like there's no dedicated or discrete GPU. So just bear that in mind when you're like, oh, I need a new laptop, and then you drop a couple of grand.
I use work. I use Apple for my grown-up real life job. So and I use like a lot of like Adobe programs on that thing. Like it's not for gaming.
That's a daily driver though. That's a daily driver price from Apple of all people.
Honest to God, that's a great price.
Product. That's great. Like I don't like Apple products, but that is actually tempting.
It's a very non-Apple price, for lack of a better phrase.
If it turns out I need to pick up like an Apple laptop for work again, that's something I would like consider. But that's only for work.
So cool.
Yeah, but you can do your socials on it, you watch your YouTube, and you can do all that stuff.
You
just
totally
can't play games on it.
Yeah, no, it's not.
But I wouldn't want to play games on a laptop. That's gonna singe your balls.
Yeah.
Because it's an Air. They don't have active cooling.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, you could buy like those cooling pads, so they work pretty well.
Pulp. Do you want to talk about a little gentleman called Pinocchio?
Oh, little gentleman called Pinocchio.
That's what I call my.
The Liza P on Steam released a demo, and I didn't go through the whole thing yet. I'm actually, after the podcast, I'm going to go and play more on my stream before I go get food. But it's they released it. It's like the first 2 chapters of the game, and they released the release date for like September 16th. So let me look it up. But instead of like making up dates out of my ass. It's only available though until I believe the 26th, and it
Yes.
comes out on September 19th. So if you are interested in the game, I would recommend checking it out. I played a little bit of it, and I'm going to go back into it later because I want to complete the whole thing.
Yeah.
It plays so nice. It's very like I saw some people call it like a Bloodborne clone, and I can agree with that.
Like I can get that, yeah, because it's very much like Renaissance France, like era.
It looks like it a little bit. There's only they give you like the option of like a rapier in the beginning, and you can like pick between balance, more dex, and more strength build. I went dex.
Yeah.
And it's surprisingly smooth. Yeah, and again, like so in my chat, there's worse things to copy. I mean, like
for sure.
I'm not gonna complain. And if you're in like in the mood for like that kind of like itch for a Souls game, hell yeah. But I saw that it was a limited demo, and I wanted to like mention like that actually is kind of a cool offer that they're giving you right now if you want to check it out. But I think you do need internet access for it.
Yes,
that's the only gripe I have.
Just to elaborate on that
all
as well.
the time.
Yeah, I don't know why. There might be online capabilities on the full release. I don't know why for the demo. It doesn't make sense. But just throwing that out there so you're aware, not surprised by it.
Probably because when demos are often done, it's because it's actually the full game, and then they've just locked it down. So they're probably doing it so it's DRM to stop people from unlocking it and getting the entire game.
Well,
probably.
That's a single player game, right?
Yeah, but
I don't
like,
know
try and crack
yet.
the game and shit like that. So that would be my guess. It will be a security thing essentially, because it's really common nowadays for a
Better
demo
not be
to
online
just be...
only. That's
It is,
ridiculous.
but I thought that I'd throw that out there. I wanted to mention it because I
Yeah.
thought when it was available, and it was a neat little thing to like I rolled up on. I think my fiance was watching Twitch. He's like, "Someone's playing the Liza P demo." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah. I've had my eye on it for a while. It definitely looks like it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, you should check out the demo too, Brian. I played a little bit of it, and I'm gonna go back in and go finish it. It plays really nice. I was surprised by it. They're smooth.
For those, just to expand on that as well, Steam Next Fest, I believe it's the 19th to the 26th. So it's just going to be a week of demos. There's going to be loads of demos. Go check them out. One, because...
Every time there's one on, I cover and I play as many as I possibly can in the time.
Me too.
It's a good thing to do, because one,
I like to play
try
demos
before you buy, but also...
I like checking out these demos on Twitch too, because I download a lot of times to play on Twitch to check it out together. Like, let's go as a crew.
Yeah, it's like it's free content. It's also like try before you buy, but also it means that the more people that use demos, the more publishers and developers that will push out demos. That's a good thing. We want more of that.
I'm always stoked when I see a game that I'm interested in release a demo, because like we have, a lot of us aren't going to get review copies and things like that before it comes out. And in this case, when it came to Liza P, I found it like by accident. Like a long time ago, like before, like I don't even remember when it was, when it like first popped up on Steam, and I was like, "Ooh, this looks actually kind of sick, dude. It looks a little bit like Bloodborne." So I've had it on my wish list for a while, like however long it's been on Steam, I've had it on my wish list. So I was really excited when I found out that there's a demo, but again, it's only available until the 26th of this month. So after that, it's gone.
Yeah,
and they've already announced it too, that it's going to be gone after that. So I would recommend checking it out if you're interested in this game. If you like Souls, you might like it.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Like I mentioned, it's kind of like Renaissance France, so very similar art style to what you saw in Bloodborne. Less Cthulhu-y, but like just the long jackets, the top hats, things like that.
You could be a sweet innocent boy.
Yeah, you play as Pinocchio.
You got some hair. Yeah, some hair flips. The first thing I said when I was playing it, I just played it offline. And the first thing I said to my fiance, I was like, "That doesn't look like a puppet to me."
Yeah.
That looks like a boy.
There are some automatons in it though, like so. A lot of the enemies are just big, beefy robots that will fuck you up. We've also, I don't want to talk about it too much because obviously we're going to have Wraith on next episode to talk about it. But you've been playing Diablo 4, which is very unexpected.
I have. I got peer pressured by you.
Me?
No, I'm kidding.
I didn't say shit. Get out of here.
I'm kidding. Oh yeah, you never talk about Diablo. I've never heard you talk about that game. What's Diablo?
I have no idea. But yeah,
I'm only like to level 30 something because I didn't get really much of a chance the rest of the week to play.
Right.
However, very pleasantly surprised. I've never played a Diablo game before. I talked about it like on my own like stream about growing up. I didn't have a gaming PC. We were like super poor.
Right.
So I never really got any exposure to any like, I never really played any Blizzard game growing up.
Right.
And so I and by the time like I finally got one, I was like, and it's too far. Like that ship sailed for me.
Yeah.
This was my first time ever trying out of Diablo. And I was very pleasantly surprised. Lilith simping hardcore. Apparently there's $16 horse armor for it. Wonderful.
Yes, there is cosmetics throughout it.
I listened to you about Warhammer.
Yes, the Warhammer simp
I'm listening.
holding up a sign.
I don't get to play this game. I'm waiting to. I don't know what you guys are talking about. If you're listening to the show, I don't know what they're talking about.
He's holding up a sign that says Diablo.
No, I'm not.
Weebs.
He's calling us weebs.
And weebs is a Japanese thing as well, so that doesn't even make sense. But yes, are you enjoying the combat and stuff then? Like, do you see yourself playing more of it?
rogue.
Okay,
I went rogue, and I've been focusing on my ultimate. I went with Death Trap and Poison Trap, so I'm doing like all traps, and yeah, it's wonderful. I'm pretty excited to continue on.
That's cool. We'll talk.
How
about
are you liking it?
Yeah, so I've
30 hours stream,
probably about 100 hours total. So my shortest stream in the last like 7 days was last night, and that was 15 hours. My longest stream was 30 hours, which was on the
Do you know
launch
what
day.
sleep is, Brian?
I've been sleeping. It's just I've not been doing anything other
in your
than
body?
sleeping and streaming.
Peachy, he's been dreaming of Lilith. That's all.
She's mommy shaped, okay?
She is. She is mommy.
The thing is, well, a lot of people.
She is very hot.
She's like this really tall succubus demon lady, and it's just like, and when she talks, she's like, keep going. just keep talking. Like, go on.
It's funny because I just looked over to my right and I see Diablo 4 being played.
Yeah, it's such a good game. It is an extraordinarily fun game. The combat is very, very, very satisfying. I'm currently playing a barbarian, and
that's the kind of shit I love playing in ARPGs. How is like melee focused, Bob?
So I build like theorycraft my own builds and stuff, and I'll be making build guides and stuff. And the build that I'm making at the moment is called the Bonk build, because everyone's doing a whirlwind barbarian, because whirlwind you can attack and move and do everything. Yeah, it's spin to win. It's always been a overpowered skill, so everyone's playing it. I don't blame them. So I was like, well, I like to meme. So my build is I have like an AoE attack where I use a sledgehammer essentially to fling the ground into people. I just go, and it's called upheaval. But when I've built up energy, I then use something called death blow, where I take the hammer and I literally spread my legs apart and just go straight on them, and it one-shots shit basically, because the way I built it. Yeah, so I'm just bonking dudes all the time. Not a euphemism. And
bonking dudes.
So yeah, so the bonk build, and like the sound design, like you literally hear things getting crushed under your hammer and like just getting annihilated.
The game does sound very nice.
The combat sounds just very, very good. Music's a bit mid, for lack of a better phrase, compared to previous games. Like, it's all just very ambient music, and it's just like, okay, yeah, it is what it is.
I like the music so far, but I mean, I didn't play the previous game, so a lot of that like goes over my head. So for somebody just going into 4, I really think it sounds nice. It's not something like, oh man, I gotta pick up this soundtrack for it, but like, it sounds very nice.
Yeah,
the game sounds pleasant to your ears the whole time.
By all means, it's not bad music at all. It's just
not
in previous games there's certain, like, there's a lot of like Spanish guitars and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, this is the Tristram theme kind of thing, and it resonates and you remember it. I don't recall or give a damn about any of the names of the tracks in the Diablo 4 soundtrack kind of thing.
Okay.
What's the sound design like, the engineering? Because there's a lot of shit going on in a Diablo game.
Yeah, so you do hear, like, if obviously it's isometric, but you can hear like things off in the distance and vaguely which direction they're coming from, and like echoes and stuff like that. If there's a doorway, you close the door, it will make it quieter for things in the other room. Like I said, the actual like combat sounds, like the sound of the hammers, the sounds of things being hit, the impact, there's a lot of oomph to it. It's very satisfying, for lack of a better phrase, incredibly satisfying to just listen to as you're playing. The actual combat itself is very, very satisfying. The campaign is really well written. It's not a masterclass, but it is really well written, especially in comparison to Diablo 3, which was really poorly written, for
it's
a nice
well
way to put
written
it.
because it has Lilith. It has mommy limit load for him.
It's not so much that in Diablo 3, it was very caricature. Like in Act 4.
I heard that actually.
Yeah, so in Act 4, you had like Diablo who was just like taunting you throughout the level. Like you'd be going through the campaign and he would just like show up as this scary image going, terror, I am the Lord of Terror. And then you have Asmodan going, oh, you've defeated my minion, but I have a new minion, ha ha ha. And it's like, what the fuck is this character control bullshit? Whereas Lilith has a personality and character and feelings, and like her son's in the game and stuff like that, and you're like,
yeah,
what's going on here? And like it's just really well done, and the voice acting, like she is a seductress, she is a succubus, you can tell. Like
she could talk to me for hours.
Like yeah, it's the cinematics as well. Like you guys won't have seen it yet. Peachy, if you're not going to play it, just look up the cinematics, mate. Just watch the cinematics.
Go and fire Bobby Kotick, because I would love to play Diablo 4.
I'll have a word. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you. That's all I'm asking.
But yeah, if you don't intend on playing it, just watch cinematics, because they're some of the best ones, particularly like the later ones, and it's just more Lilith, and it's just cool and awesome. Pulp, you've got some really dope shit to look forward to. And then
I'm very excited.
Once you've completed the campaign, it's a common thing to say in action RPGs, but the real game starts and all the end game and stuff like that. So
like I said, someone's playing it right next to me, and he's like World Tier 4 and everything. So I understand. Like I keep hearing all of this. I hear the phrase all the time. The real game begins as soon as you beat it.
Like it's a very reductive term. I don't like using it, but you know, people know what I mean.
I could see that. Because you have like, you know, the end game farming and all that, like people really like that stuff, and I've known it. I've known that. I think that's what I've always known Diablo is about. Like I actually didn't know there was a campaign, because I never played the older ones.
Yeah, the first one, it was pretty story driven. It was like kind of balanced. Like here's a story, here's some loot. Then the second one, it was like, here's the story, but here's loads more loot. And it's always been about killing things to find better loot, to then kill things quicker to find better loot, rinse, repeat. Like that's the carrot on the stick. That's the loop, the gameplay loop. Peachy, you've been playing some System Shock.
Oh yes, my God, have I? I've currently got 3 saves on the go.
Oh.
I stopped playing it on stream because Daddy needs a win sometimes, and you know, it does drop off on my stream.
Right.
So I was like, I'm gonna do another save, and I bumped up some of the difficulties, apart from the story difficulty, because that gives you a timer.
Right.
And I'm getting my ass absolutely handed to me. But then I'm like, maybe I like that. So I went back and I'm in full hardcore mode, trying to complete the game in 10 hours before. It is okay. So we've been blessed, #blessed, with some good remakes of
yes,
like
we have.
Dead Space was a really good reimagining, re-architecturing of it. This is perfect. All the annoyances from the first one are gone, kind of. So
yeah, I was going to ask about that. So I've seen a couple of reviews where they've essentially been very faithful, including with things they probably shouldn't have been, like mechanics that haven't aged well.
Well, it's not. They have updated mechanics for a gameplay that is old school. Right. So you play it and it feels like a modern game. Apart from, unless you play it on the easier difficulty for the story, the great thing about this game is there are 4 different types of difficulty. You've got combat, space, puzzles, and story.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you can bump all the other, like combat and real space and all that stuff. You can bump that really difficult, so you can have a challenging game. And then you set the story to easy, and it'll tell you where to go. I don't really like that in games. I do like trying to figure stuff out myself if I've been given the information to do it. And it does do a good job of giving you that information if you look for it. If you don't look for it, you will be stuck and lost. And modern games would not do that. They would not allow you to get stuck. Like a AAA game will flash a beacon. Like they do not want you to get stuck. They want you to play through the game, because what if they get bored?
Right.
So that like all the levels are maze-like, and they get more and more maze-like, like the original. It is it's like an experience. You play the game. I would recommend not streaming it to YouTube. I would recommend just playing it because it takes you onto this place, and like your character is like, I don't know what's going on. You're playing the game, you're like, I don't know what's going on. And you're talking about Lilith, but Shodan is way more mommy.
Right.
Okay, she's way more mommy. She has a god complex. She's an AI. She is the station. Like the station is like a character in the game,
Right.
and that's why it's designed so awkwardly. It's just really if you like the original, you will really enjoy the remake. If you've never played it before, and you're a bit more into the modern gaming stuff, just bump the story difficulty all the way down, and you can still have all the difficult combat if you want to bump that up.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with getting a hint because the game is very confusing.
Right.
You will enjoy it if you bump down.
I like that there's 2 different settings. Like one for
there's 4. There are 4 different settings. Yeah. So you've got your normal combat difficulty. You've got the you go into like a VR world and you've got to hack things. It's just a shooting mini game like Descent.
Right. Okay.
You can set that difficulty. You've got puzzles in the game as well, which you can turn up to max. And they are like, oh god, those are puzzles. I figured them all out though because I'm really smart and handsome. And then you've got the story. And basically, the 3 difficulty settings for the story are: you set it to 1, it'll tell you where to go, and you can go and complete the game.
Right. Okay.
You set it to 2, everything is trying to kill you. Shodan will just drop enemies on you, and it won't highlight where you need to go. You need to read all the stuff you're finding to figure out what you got to do next. And you can find things out of order. You can play it however you want, to be honest. And then the 3rd difficulty is you have 10 hours. To complete the game, otherwise Showdown wins.
Right. Okay.
But you can tailor make the difficulty, and that was in the original as well. So I think it's really cool. I know people are like, oh, you can't turn on difficulty. I'm like, well, if they want to turn it, it doesn't bother me. Do you know what I mean?
Especially if it's like single player stuff. Like, oh, but what about my platinum? You're the only one who cares about your platinum. Get over it, kind of thing. Yeah. People who are against difficulty.
There's certain games like I like playing them on like normal, or I'll go to hard first, and then like if it's too like difficult, I'll bump it down. It's like I don't really care what people choose to do.
I play a game to enjoy it at the end of the day.
Doesn't make you a better gamer.
Yeah. Sometimes I want to play it for the challenge. Sometimes I want to play it for the story. It's like people who are against difficulty options just blow my mind, especially in single player games. Do you have enough time?
My recommended difficulty is everything on 3 apart from story. Put that to 2 so you don't have a timer. You won't be able to complete that if you've not completed the game already anyway.
That's fair.
I think that's the most pure experience, which is a horrible term, and I can't believe I said it. I'm sorry.
Wow, we got a purist over here.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to play it, but it is challenging like that, and there's nothing wrong with dropping all the difficulty around if you just want to feel the vibe, because it is a cool concept.
I appreciate the recommendation though, because when it comes to games like, especially like if you are a fan of an older franchise like that, or like franchise, it's an older game that's been remade entirely. Like getting to experience it the way it was intended, it's like it's nice to know what settings to put it for. So I appreciate you even saying that, even though you are a purist.
Or just play it on 2 all, which just play it on 2. I think it's unless you get really frustrated with getting lost. And just bump the story down. It's all separate. That's like, I want to say what a new innovation, but no, it's not a new innovation. We had it in the first one.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
it's something I would love to see more of. Like, giving people options.
Tailoring it.
It makes it better for an individual's experience, but also accessibility as well, which I'm always going to advocate for. Do you have
that's
time?
The Logic 2 does it like that as well. You can change different stuff.
I appreciate that's what the way I feel about with the difficulty settings being put in games is that sometimes like for the sheer accessibility, some people are just not that. They're just, they're not that combat oriented, so they don't want to they just want to experience the story.
Yeah, and maybe you want puzzles on max and combat really easy. That's cool. Maybe you like hunting around this place and you want that as difficult as possible in the puzzles, but you don't want to fight zombies as difficult.
Yeah, it's like when I play when you play the older, I don't know if all the Silent Hills have them, but like the older ones, like 2 and 3, one I think one as well. They have puzzle difficulties and action difficulties. So I usually will bump up the puzzle. I'll bump up the puzzle difficulty, and I think I usually keep action at normal because the games are really combat oriented. So I do appreciate that when you mentioned that System Shock offers the same accessibility, because some people are just not. Maybe you're not really a big puzzle kind of guy. But you want to beat the shit out of something.
You can't change difficulty in the game, though. You'll have to start another one, but it gives you everything right, pretty much up front. You'll know if it's the right difficulty. That's why you have 3
saves.
Oh, I've got 3 saves because I'm playing it in 3 different ways. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like that's.
I just really enjoy it. It's very faithful, in a good way. Night Dive have done a fantastic job, and they even make a Tool reference in the intro.
Really? Tool reference, that's sick. Do you have time to talk Voidtrain as well?
Voidtrain, very good. Survival crafting with a different twist, which is what all survival crafting is trying to do. But you're on a train, you got to get wood and stone and metal and make stuff, and you progress through the level on this train track. I was playing it with Val and Vane and Jay Britton. It's a lot of fun. I played the demo in Next Fest last Next Fest. I was like, oh, this is really cool. I'm put it on my wish list. I'm not going to get it in early access, but then the boys were like, hey, let's play this in early access. So I did, and it's good. It's cool. Okay. It's a survival crafting game. There's some kind of fascist dictatorship took over the world, but I don't think they exist anymore. And the train tracks are kind of floating through the void, and leeches try and attack you, and there's really cute ones that you have to shoot for food. It's if you like survival crafting games, this has got a nice twist, but it's still classic survival crafting.
So a bit samey.
No, because of the setting, it's not actually samey.
Okay.
But the like what you expect the gameplay to loop should be samey. The gameplay loop to be should be samey, but because of where you are, you're on a train, a tiny little train. You can't fit 3 people. We were bumping each other, and then we extended our train and started putting more stuff on the train, and then made a longer train. And then there was another train that was shooting at us, and we got stopped by a block in the train tracks, and people tried to kill us. And then we found out if we go fast enough, we don't have to fight those people. We can burst straight through, but they do have loot. So there's a lot of combat. Actually, there's a lot of proper first-person combat. Like criticals, headshots, you can upgrade your guns and stuff.
Nice. That's pretty dope.
And I've seen a screenshot, which I haven't got to, but there's a giant Leviathan that glows kind of orange, and the guy has this laser gun that's glowing, and blah, 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 blah. I did like, what? I've got a revolver at the moment. No, it's fun. If you like survival crafting, you'll enjoy this.
Yeah, I think the next survival game I've really got my eye on, the Lord of the Rings one. That actually looks really dope. But,
that actually looks pretty dope.
I forgot what it's called. It's been announced and like shown off in the past year or so. It's kind of, I think they refer to it as like lamp punk, where it's not quite steampunk style. But like, it's
I'm sorry.
A good term. I instantly understood what it was.
Yeah, what was? Do you recall what the name of the game is? It's like where they have. The premise is you're lost in like this dimension, and you have to like set up a base, and then there's a portal that will take you to like another dimension, and there's different monsters and stuff like that. And there's a lot of like really cool horror monsters. I've forgotten what it's fucking called though.
I can't think of it.
Yeah, that one's been like touted.
That's been flown around for a few
like a couple
of
years.
While.
Yeah. Like I want to say, I don't think it's Flintlock. I think that's an action RPG that's coming out, which
it's called Minecraft,
which looks really cool. I can't remember what it's called though. But yeah, that's probably going to be the next one when I do eventually recall the name. What's your plan for the next week or 2 weeks? Are you streaming any particular games?
Oh, you just went straight in there.
Yeah.
He didn't even spit on it.
I was like, I didn't even get a chance to think about that. I'm probably gonna go back to some Diablo for what else was I playing? Like I have some games I have on my backlog I need to like pick up on.
Right.
So I'm not even entirely sure what I got the plan this week. So, I mean, I think that this week I was thinking of going back to some of my horror roots, like because I was playing a lot of horror games for a while, and
Okay.
actually I was going to start it by I picked up the speaking of demos from earlier, Alone in the Dark.
Yeah.
Released a demo as well, the prologue. I heard it's only like 12 minutes. I might actually do it first today, and then go into Lies P.
Yeah.
So just I have no idea what's going on
And then,
this
of
week.
course, the Steam Next Fest the week after as well.
Can't wait for that. That's going to be fun.
It's gonna be fun.
Well, see, Peachy,
Oh!
you're going to be doing a lot of Steam Next Fest. Sorry, go on.
I forgot about Fortnite.
Oh, shit, sorry. Did you want to go into that? We can go into that. I mean, I've got time.
I need to explain Fortnite to people because we all have an idea of what Fortnite is, and you're correct, right? You know what that is? It's the children's cartoon where you battle royale, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wrong. Okay, I'm gonna say something that is gonna anger so many people. Okay, Fortnite is the next CS:GO 1.6.
1.6 specifically?
Yeah, because that's kind of where it all amalgamated on. It is there's game modes up the arse, right? There are people making their own levels and they're hanging out in the levels. It is a true live service. It is a true live service. But also people are making their own levels and games and mods, and essentially now with the new tools that with the new tools Epic have just released, they want this to pop off and people to make whatever they want out of their game.
Yeah.
And I played it, I turned it on, I was like, what the fuck? There's so much going on. And I was gonna play with my little nephew, and he couldn't make it because he had school and he got home late and stuff. So I'm just gonna have a look at this and figure out what's going on.
Right.
And I hesitate to say I had fun. But
it's a good game. Like we shouldn't shy
heard
away
it's
from that.
not
It's a
bad.
good game.
No, like we all Fortnite, blah, 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 it's a meme,
more
right?
The demographic and just how it's become like as big as it is why a lot of people avoid it as much. Or
They have altered the demographic.
I'm one of those people.
The demographic is not what you think it is.
I think it's expanded. I think that
there is some boomer shit in there.
We do like there are like kind of what you said, like when you think of Fortnite, there's certain things that come to mind, and I think that's why a lot of people poo-poo it. But I mean, frankly, I will admit, like I never really got into like battle royale type games because I'm not really like that that much of a competitive person. So I never really I played PUBG a little bit one time, and that was enough for me, So
they have there is a lot of boomer shit, and I'm playing it, and I'm looking at it as a journalist, for want of a better word, to just figure it out, right? And then I got that the 1.6 LAN, playing with your friends, make your own game, have a laugh with your buddies, right? And that's what I was doing with a beige PC, not Epic Game Store. But I might have spent money on it because they have put boomer shit in it, and I figured out why.
they want Peachy.
Who
Play
just
with
had a kid,
Yeah.
not just had a kid, but have a kid they want him to get into games because they're into games. They're like, and me, playing with my nephew and stuff like that. Like, I've got an emote which is Master of Puppets from Metallica. There is no Zoomer that knows what Master of Puppets by Metallica is, right?
True.
That's
No,
in there,
not.
and it just plays Master of Puppets. There is like. I have completely changed my mind on Fortnite. It's still not my game. It's not something I'm going to play a lot when I'm not, just trying to teach my nephew what video gaming is.
It's very clear that Fortnite is trying to appeal to a large, like they're always trying to cast a wide net with like all these emotes, all these skins, and I can respect that in a way. It's like while the kind of genre it isn't for me, I can respect what they're trying to do, and the fact, like, I mean, I don't think my nephews play Fortnite at all, so I never really got exposed to it in that aspect. They're more like into like Five Nights at Freddy's and stuff. But
it's
I
interesting.
played for a couple of hours, and I didn't once play a battle royale game.
Interesting.
So that's the thing. It's actually really interesting because during the Apple versus Epic court case, the lawyers for Epic were explaining what Fortnite is, because of the whole like microtransactions, and they were saying no, it's not a game, it's an experience. So and I'll elaborate on that, because when Fortnite first came out, it was a PvE game. There was no battle royale. It was You build bases, zombies come at you. It was a horde builder. You built a base to defend against a horde, kind of like a tower defense thing, and it didn't do very well. Then it evolved into a battle royale to try and save it, and it has been continuously evolving ever since. And now they've introduced these tools to allow players to make their own games in a very similar vein to Roblox, where you make your own experiences. And it could be you make mini games, you make things where you literally just walk through a level and experience pretty objects or art or something like that. They are making the metaverse, which I know is very buzzwordy, but when you hear people talk about the metaverse, Fortnite is what they're describing.
Yeah.
To be honest, just without the VR at the moment, and that's probably going to come down later. And the audience,
there's no doubt in my mind they're going to come down with where it's going to start integrating with VR. Absolutely.
It's no longer a battle royale game. It's loads of games. It's an engine where you can make loads of things in it, and it's got all the crossovers. We just talked earlier about how it's got Jurassic Park Velociraptors in it. It's got Dragon Ball Z. It's got Optimus Prime, Spider-Man, Marvels. It's got fucking Metallica in it. They're trying to expand that audience because they want everybody playing it, and everyone is slowly coming over going, oh, it's the battle royale without the build aspect. Oh, it's got this time trial system, it's got this assault course thing, it's got this, it's got that. It's got people making their own games within the game.
I mean, I mean, I appreciate that they are trying to include as many people as they can. And your way, Peachy, say about bringing in the dads, like that's a brilliant like tactic, because when you have kids, you know, they eat that shit up.
Yeah.
You know,
quality time with your parents gaming is huge. Like having that is quite a big thing, and it has a wide appeal.
I started gaming because my uncle sat me in front of Doom on his PC, the Doom demo freeware. And now I'm playing Fortnite with my nephew. I've already bought him Minecraft, but he's like, I really like the Fortnite. And I'm like, okay. And I installed it. I played it for a couple of hours, didn't once play a battle royale. I went, yeah, I get it. And that's why I say 1.6, all that modding, all that people just hanging out, making a room just to hang out in. Like,
and credit where credit's due. It does so much, and you can do so much with it, and it works.
It's a very ambitious game when you really think about it in that that aspect.
Profoundly
just
ambitious.
Organically grown to be like this, though.
Like, did you come across any bugs? Like, if you did, was it because of the people that made the level or whatever, or was it because of the engine?
Oh no, it like level. No, it's there's not, like, the engine is solid.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the engine it's on.
It's a good game, yeah.
The industry standard for making games.
Yeah.
And now they're making games. Is this going to bring out new developers? Probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. It's in the same vein as Roblox, where people make mini games within Roblox and then they become actual developers and get away from Roblox. Thankfully, there's loads of drama with that. But yeah, it's essentially Roblox, but for everyone rather than just kids. For those of you not familiar with Roblox, Roblox is a huge industry. You probably hear the word Roblox in passing and you're like, isn't that a kid's game? Roblox is huge. It's almost as big as the gaming industry on its own. It makes so much money. And Fortnite are basically doing the same thing, but with less child labor and and less like sketchy practices. But yeah, and if Roblox can do it with just kids, imagine what Epic can do with actual like people who have got experience and adults and like the knowledge to make insane levels and mini games within games.
You want to make a game and you can make it in this engine, you've got a huge audience to show that to.
Immediately. Yeah, it's huge.
But yeah, it's not for me, but I get it, and I won't hate every second that I'm playing
Roblox, but without the child predators.
Yeah, it's not quite child predators. It's more like child labor.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's not the same thing.
That killed me.
Just to be clear.
I know that was just so funny to read.
Yeah. Should we on that bombshell?
Do on that
shout
bombshell.
Oh my God, baby snort.
Where can we find you?
Oh, I am Pulp Fiction. I'm a former Instagram model turned variety streamer. You can find me on Twitch, Instagram, everywhere at Pulp Fiction, except Twitter, because I'm Plot Fiction, because someone took my name. And I will be on in a little bit, probably like 15 minutes after this podcast is over to play some Alone in the Dark and Lies of P demos. So catch me there, guys.
Yeah, everyone go over to Pulp's stream, link in the chat if you've got the means. Peachy.
Hello, I'm Peachy Pixel. You can find me on twitch.tv/Peachy there. Twitter is also Peachy. And I will be playing Rimworld a bit more and working on some YouTube stuff.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Warhammer.
Oh, and I gotta fix the greatest mouse in the world. This is a shout out to SteelSeries. Please make the Rival 500 again. I'm begging you, please. I will buy 12 and I will use them for the rest of my life. Thank you. Using my platform.
I think they have actually mentioned the Rival in the past and they're like, no, we're not going to make it
again. The Rival 500 is the best mouse ever made and mine's broken. I am so sad that I bought a soldering iron so I can try and fix it.
I believe in you.
What about you, Brian?
My name is Brian the Pirate.
Where
I
can
can
we
be
find
found on all platforms pretty much as Brian the Pirate. I will probably not be streaming for the next probably 8 or so hours because I have been perpetually streaming and sleeping Diablo 4. I've got so much shit to catch up on. I've got all the anime. I have about 12 tabs of YouTube videos, like 7 episodes of the Philip DeFranco show to get caught up on and get my news updates and all that shit. So I'm going to actually have a wind down day and try and also fix my sleeping schedule because I'm back at work on Monday. Also,
Stop drinking Monsters, Brian.
this is my last one, I promise, until I open the next one.
I don't have a problem. I can stop anytime I want.
I can stop when I want. Leave me alone. But also, huge shout out to, of course, my co-hosts, Peachy and Pulp. Thank you, as always, for being here for a wonderful episode. And thank you all for watching and listening at home. If you don't already, follow on the Twitter, which is at Fully Rendered TV. We have a YouTube. We have Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Podrocker. We're on a whole host of them. So there's lots of places where you can watch the show. Go check it out. Go like, subscribe, and tell your mum about the show. Fantastic.
Woo!
That's
Tell
been
your mum
us.
I called.
We've been great.
Mouthful.
Thank you all for watching. Farewell.
Bye.
We'll remember you. Bye.